right, hello and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing One Ring Second Edition tonight, and Fellowship has grown by one as our friend Steven is going to be joining us for probably only one session, because I'm pretty sure that's how much my patience is going to last with him. No, he's going to be hanging out with us for a bit. As the company certainly needs some help with all things considered where we're going. So yeah, hey Stanley, how's it going? Aaron, thank you so much for the sub. We're continuing the sub 8 months. You're a gentleman and a scholar. And just as I say that, top some bits off for me to use to kill the Fellowship. That's what that's for. Darn it. Okay. He actually tagged it. He tagged it.
Bloodthirsty.
I know. We were playing Savage Worlds last night, and I was
a sip of water.
I was like, I'm gonna get him. And then I realized, okay, calm down. Root for the players to die. But no. It's gonna be fun. Melissa's gonna keep track of that. So Steven, what we do is the audience sometimes helps us out. They throw an extra bonus die. So like we have like a bonus die pool basically, and so anytime you want to pull from it, you can either like essentially 100 bits can either get you an extra bonus die on a roll, or I think it's 500 bits can get you favored roll. So it's kind of the pool that we have running. Melissa keeps track of it.
I do.
I'm trying to think. Have I killed players? Let's see. In that Delta Green game, Viscid game, I mean, I like to think that I didn't kill anybody. I think. Well, I guess I kind of did. Yeah. Matt a couple times. So anyway, let's see. Let's get started. Got anything to plug? Do we got anything to plug? Steven, do you got anything to plug? You got anything?
No, I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. All right. Should we do? Let's do some character introductions. We can hold off maybe on Steven's until we introduce your character into the actual game. But yeah, we'll start with it's kind of reintroduced to everybody else. So we're gonna start with Long. Long, tell us about Floy.
Yeah, I'm playing a mountain dwarf. His name is Floy. He's a young adventurer. He's a treasure hunter. His last escapade left him with a nasty scar from a unnamed being. It's a nice little crater on his side. Got veins discolored from the venom. And he's out here trying to take revenge on a Rotag, one of the orcs that has been slaying some dwarves.
Indeed, who's been around since the very beginning, when you guys were just wandering around Bray doing your laps around the farmer fields. And there was a named orc, apparently, who was kind of putting together a war party. And they've managed to elude you for some time. But they're supposed to be up here somewhere. Maybe we'll learn more about their whereabouts later. Next up, we got Gilly Kettlegrass. Ashley, tell us about Gilly.
Okay, so Gilly is our little Bree Hobbit friend. She's a scholar. She has like her big thing that she's recently like really undertaken is that she's documenting the adventures of her friends. So she's got, it could be a little creepy, but she does think Floy is like the coolest person ever. Erennial, she's been growing on her. She now has her own section of the book. She's like a fangirl. And she's here, but she's also very true-hearted. She's keen-eyed, she's pretty decent with her bow, and yeah, she just means well.
Okay, right on. And not only did like your bow, you one-shot the warg alpha, right, of the pack.
I did, yeah.
And so yeah, I never got to do anything with it. Actually, you killed it before it had a chance. But the little ones did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Hey Roger, how's it going? Let's see. Next up, we got Erennial. So let's tell us about Erennial.
Yeah, so she is a Ranger of the North champion. I think Gilly's explanation is sort of accurate to sort of that's been her goal, is that people may not like her initially because, Ranger. But then she grows on them. And that's, life goals.
You're like moss, it just grows slowly but surely. It's there.
Yeah.
They
Uh,
do, I think. Um,
That's a Gilly, what Gilly thought.
yeah.
yeah. Last session, she organized a field day with the kids at the homestead and did some potato sack races and other such fun things during our fellowship phase. And it was probably the last
That's right.
reprieve I feel like we're gonna have for a little bit of fun and games, and don't think there'll be too much of that in our future.
What are you talking about? Everything was fun. It was great. You guys were talking about like you're gonna skin some wargs or something. I heard like when we were prepping.
Maybe,
I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
Perennial
Sounds like
needs
sounds
a
like
short
fun.
rest.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Steven, why don't you tell us like just maybe what your role, like what you decide to make. We don't have to get into like the full description yet because let's leave some of it a mystery until you show up. But whatever, some little things you want to tell us about your character.
Well, just the basics. My name is Erebon, and I am a Linden Elf Warden. That covers most of it.
Oh, we just lost you. Just lost your voice.
Oh, of course.
That's how I like them. Right there. Nice and quiet.
That covers most of it, though. That's the broad strokes.
Yeah. And for those who are unfamiliar, Linden is off to the west. Right now we're, let's see if I can scan us over. Right now we're pretty far to the east of Erebor, Eriador. And Linden is way over to the west here, over by the Blue Mountains, even west of the Blue Mountains. So we're going to figure out why exactly we're going to be meeting an elf soon in this area, and what perhaps they're doing over here. So figure that out. Okay, so let's get started. So let's do the summary. So last week we've already kind of hinted at it a bit here and there, but you all, after the horrible injury Floy suffered at the hands of a nameless thing, the lurker in the dark, in the ruins of an old Rudauer war prince, you all decided to recuperate at Nadil's homestead, and you spent about 3 or 4 weeks or so resting. So we're kind of firmly into autumn now. You're able to kind of sharpen some of your skills here and there. And eventually you set back out on your journey to Mount Grom. You're looking for Marimben, who is a contact that was given to you by Talendale, a ranger of the north, who you aided in sort of trying to defend Fornost from some of these hillfolk who were kind of grave robbing, treasure hunting, etc. Along the journey north to Mount Grom, you had a couple strange encounters. At one point you had what felt like a stampede of ghostly horses or something. You saw these strange haunting hilltop fires that whenever you journeyed over there was no light, and the light kind of kept piercing every now and then. And you found flowers on unmarked graves, suggesting that perhaps you passed over and through some kind of major battlefield or battle site in this area. Eventually, you made it to Mount Grom, but you didn't see any immediate signs of your dwarven friends, Thorvum or Thebe, who were said to try to signal you. I think you had this kind of tapestry plan. I still don't think I'm 100% on what exactly this plan was, but you were supposed to signal for them, or they were supposed to signal for you, but you're a couple weeks behind now, and unfortunately, you weren't able to find them immediately. You started to trek through this kind of darkened mountain pass to try to get to the western side, looking for this ruined watchtower you were supposed to signal Marimbem in some way. But in doing so, you uncovered kind of a troll lair, or at least a kitchen or something like that. And you just quickly dispatched this troll before reinforcements were able to arrive, and then you kind of scurried away. You left the necklace of Talendale's daughter on the ruins, and you camped for the night a little ways away. But on the first watch, Gilly was on first watch. A pack of wargs descended upon the party and got a few good licks in, I think. But you were able to dispatch them. But that's about it. So let's go ahead and start up. So yeah, let's just pick up exactly where we left off. We have this slaughtered battle site, your campsite, there are, I think it was something like 5 or 6 different bodies of wolves and wargs that are scattered about, including one large kind of alpha that has an arrow through its throat. And you were all here. It's still nighttime. It's cold too. Like it's autumn, but it feels like winter. And even these little snow flurries kind of pick up every now and then, but they're not sustained or anything like that. What are the 3 of you doing?
We should salvage what pelts we can. So I'll just start dragging whatever to the campfires.
Okay.
I just need to sit for a bit. Warm me out.
Yeah, so I think we're looking to just salvage whatever resource we can and then get any kind of rest in.
Okay. So if so I'll say like if you want to, you're trying to get like the wolf hide and everything like that. Okay. So you're gonna have like uncured wolf hide. It's gonna be messy. Probably gonna take a little time. It's also gonna potentially weigh you guys down, so your load probably will kick in. So why don't we do a roll to see how much or how much you're able to get, or the quality with which and the speed. So if Arinial, you're looking to take a short rest while they do this, or are you gonna
Yes,
help
because
out?
my assumption is that our long rest was interrupted and will not continue. So I would like at least a short rest before we.
No, you can continue it. Like it's fine. It's just a question of whether you want to like stay here amongst these dead carcasses, or whether you want to shift your camp somewhere else.
Yeah, Gilly's thinking at least like we process a few of these, maybe not all of them, depending on the quality, and then move to like a different camp area.
All right, then I will help. If anyone else wants to take the lead, I have hunting, so I assume that would help.
So yeah, I figure, I mean, this could just be a super quick and easy like skill endeavor. If all of you are kind of contributing to this, just tell me what you're doing to contribute to the sort of breaking down of these wolf corpses, and each one of you can roll something, and then depending on the number of successes you get, we'll sort of figure out how much you're able to bring with you. So Reniel, you said hunting. So yeah, you've probably spent time hunting these creatures, which means you more than likely have some understanding of what you can get from them that's worthwhile or usable. You're pretty far away from any outpost that you know of, at least. So you're gonna have to make do with whatever resources you can find. So if you want, you can roll your hunting test and see if you're able to. And just tell me how well you do, actually.
That is a success with a 14.
All right, so you got one success. Okay, then Gilly or Floy, what are the 2 of you doing to kind of help the cleanup of the site here?
I've got craft, if that's useful.
Absolutely, especially if you're planning on using any of these, the pelts for basically creating winter clothes or something. It's going to be messy and gross because it's all kind of uncured and whatnot, but you can find something from this that might be useful to you. So yeah, roll that craft. And let me know
I
how
just
you do.
failed.
Okay.
Yeah, Gilly, I also wanted to do a craft roll like on my own like work that she's working on.
Yeah, I was gonna have everyone do one. So yeah, I mean, it's probably not necessarily Floyd's expertise, I would say. This idea of kind of cloth working or leather working or anything like that. Maybe you're more of maybe you're a metallurgist or something like that. It's same with you, Gilly. While you have a
She
decent...
was whittling, so she's more like
woodworker?
carving, woodworking than like animals.
Okay. All right. So here's what we'll do. We've got one success, and we'll say, okay, we'll give you probably we'll say sort of six quantity, and we'll kind of treat that like maybe 3 load. So if you want to, you can split it up. If everyone just wants to add, you can use your treasure if you want just to add the load, or you can create an item. I don't care which. And so if you want to split that one load apiece, and so everyone's kind of carrying a little bit of something. And just someone take down in your notes that you have these uncured pelts of these kind of sloppy pelts of wolf fur. And we'll say that
per chat,
that
we do need snow socks to go with our snowshoes.
if you want to put your feet into the bloody fur
I mean, not right
these
now,
wolves,
just down the road. This is something that we're working towards.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because I also learned some craft during our last fellowship phase. So
It's part of the 5-year plan.
Right.
All right. So this is going to take a little time. So the three of you, it's not going to take all of the night, but so now the next question is, do you pick up, do you move your camp? Do you try to stay here? What is it you want to do?
Relocating.
Okay. All right. So let's see. How about Aurenial? Why don't you roll like a do like an awareness test maybe, or explore or something like that could work. Looking for somewhere that looks to be protected enough from the wind, but also close enough to that ruined tower to hopefully alert Marimbem to your presence.
I'll take one of the D6s that we've got, and I'll do awareness.
Okay.
Great
All right.
success.
Yeah, so you end up actually going strangely enough further up the mountain a ways, as you spot, as you're looking around and as you're kind of piecing, putting down the fire and whatnot, you see what looks like a sort of an old kind of goat trail or something that weaves its way up the slope of the mountain. So you kind of travel up that, not too far, kind of still somewhat within, if it was daytime, probably within sight, you would think, of that ruined tower. And you all do your best to kind of quickly set up a makeshift camp to get at least a couple hours worth of sleep. Gilly, you've already done your watch. So Floy, Aurenial, or one of you gonna go ahead and take up watch next.
Yeah, I'll stay awake.
Okay. All right, Floy, go ahead and roll an awareness. Okay.
Hey, success.
At some point in the night, you hear the sounds of something overhead, but not overhead as like the mountain itself, but you hear the sounds of something like in the air, just sort of whooshing past. You're not sure if it's like a flock of large birds. You did see some, some eagles and things. One of them was kind of, you remember when you were passing through the darkened mountain tunnel, you did see one of the stone trolls were kind of pulling apart what looked like the carcass of an eagle, or at least some other large mountain bird. And you maybe get the sense that that's kind of flying around overhead, but otherwise nothing seems to attack you or cause any trouble. But eventually you grow tired, kind of tap out, and Aurenial, you get up and do the same thing. Go ahead and roll that awareness.
It is a failure with a 4.
Okay. So Aurenial, you're the last. You're still up. Like, you can see that there's still some darkness left in the sky, and eventually, like, you're kind of suddenly startled as something about 20 paces away from you, you see a kind of a figure in the darkness. That's just sort of like the contours of something, just standing on top of what looks like a chunk of rock. You can't quite make out exactly what it is. You focus your eyes a bit, but it's very, very close to you at this point. You can see some of the firelight kind of flickering back at you in its eyes. You're not sure exactly what it is. What do you do?
Aurenia will ready her bow and try to kind of flank a little bit to get a better vision on what this is.
Okay. So you do your best to sort of stealthily like circle round, and as you do, you notice that you start doing kind of basic calculation, and you think back to the size of that sort of alpha warg, right? That Gilly was able to take out with a single arrow, and you realize this thing, whatever this is bigger. And as you're getting somewhat close, you your foot slips, and you watch as like a whole chunk of rock just begins tumbling down, making all semblance, all sorts of noise. And you look up and you see the creature has spraying off of the rock, and that's as it's sort of twisting and turning and making this huge 360 move or 180 movement and begins trampling down the slope of the mountain. You realize it is some kind of massive elk. You see like these huge ridges, these very like kind of grandiose horns kind of kicking out on either side. And as it, despite its size, it's moving fairly gracefully down the slope itself. You just see these huge explosions of rock and like little particles of ice from the nighttime flurries of snow just erupt with each time one of its hooves hits the ground, and it seems to be running down the slope kind of southwardly. What do you want to do?
I'm just going to give it a berth to continue on its way.
Okay, so just gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of keep an eye on where it heads to.
Okay. So you watch as it, if you're keeping an eye on it, and as the sun starts coming up a little bit to the east, you can see it starting to peek up over the mountains, the misty mountains to the east, and it's still not like illuminating the whole area all that well, as you guys are on the western slope of Mount Grom. You do notice that kind of at the base of this slope that you've climbed, you see it stop. It's probably run a couple, maybe 400, 500 paces or so down, and it just sort of comes to a stop, and then you see it as it just turns around, climbs up on top of this rock, and stares back up at the slope, once it is looking directly at you.
Puns in chat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw them.
I saw you see them. So Aurenia will just kind of make note and go back to our new campsite area.
Okay, you do so. And it's at that point when you get back, the sun's more fully up, and you can see like Floy and Gilly are kind of starting to wake up now and getting themselves situated here and there.
So I'll share what I saw. And then, yeah, does this count for a long rest? Okay.
The stag, you say? Is the same one from the ruins?
Jeff,
you
did
don't-
Aurenia find this to be familiar?
I mean, it was the same type of creature that you've seen. The one when you were in the bog, the one that you saw swimming around in the ruins itself was more kind of like spectral in some ways. But yeah, this would be the third time you've seen a creature like this. Yeah. But it's probably not the same one. That was a month ago. And that was about 100 miles, south of here.
Is
So
there some
now
sort
that-
of-
Oh,
some
go ahead.
sort of lore related to stags? It seems like you're seeing them all the time.
Now that we're all awake, maybe we can kind of head in the direction where it went. Aurenia's putting everything. You're muted, Ashley.
Whoops. We're just kind of hanging around until she finds us, I think. So that couldn't hurt.
All right, so when you look around for it at this point, Aurinial, it's been a little bit of time now. You don't see it like perched up anywhere specifically, but if you want to go ahead and sort of look for some kind of tracks, you're welcome to. If you want to do
Yep.
some kind of search,
I do.
hunt would probably work out fine here.
Okay. Success 14.
Okay. You do pick up a trail, and likely it's because like those large bursts of every time its hoof kind of hit, and a lot of the like there's kind of this gravelly, loose, rocky terrain. There's the snow now that's kind of beginning to melt as the sun's starting to pop up, as there's not a whole lot of it. But you're able to find the tracks fairly easily. They actually don't look too difficult to find whatsoever. And you can see that it's sort of traveling south and westward and away from Mount Grom a bit. And when you get, when you probably traveled maybe about a half an hour or so, you're kind of in somewhat more flattened terrain, but it's still kind of, there's these crags and nooks and crannies from time to time. It's then that you notice that there's this bit of smoke kind of wafting up into the air a little further ahead, kind of in the same direction that the tracks are taking you.
Ernie will just kind of note to everyone, and she'll get her sword at the ready and kind of quietly move in the direction of the smoke.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth if you're going to try to do it quietly. What are Floyd and Gilly doing?
We'll follow her, see who this campsite belongs to.
Yeah.
Okay, stealth
I'm
if you
hungry.
want.
I hope they're friendly.
Okay.
That's an extraordinary success.
Okay, that's
Auto.
Gandalf. You guys did a great job. Wow. Okay.
We are silent.
Fantastic. Never overlook a good night's rest. Okay. So as you slowly sneak up on this sort of what looks like smoke from some kind of campfire, you notice that there are a handful of people, and you can tell that they are people, not orcs, not trolls. But when you look, you can see that they seem to be kind of wearing the same kind of garb, carrying themselves in the same kind of manner that some of the other hill folk that you've come across, both those that kind of invaded Oswald Breaker's home and those that you encountered in Foreign-House, but also Nadil and his family back at his homestead. And you can see that they all seem to be awake and kind of going through the motions of making some kind of breakfast and kind of gearing up and getting ready. They seem to have established some kind of camp within this somewhat sunken, kind of protected area. There's rocks here and there. Go ahead and roll. If somebody wants to roll an awareness test, go ahead and do so. Whoever kind of is taking the lead and just was trying to kind of peer and taking this sort of any kind of assessment of this area. So if that's Aurinial or if somebody else wanted to take that over.
Aurinial will
I got a 6 on my stealth roll, right? Yeah. I could potentially spend that to go like invisible, and I could go closer and do an awareness roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an awareness.
So when we were sneaking up, Gilly was kind of trailing behind Floy, and perhaps you guys turn around to look to see what we're doing, and Gilly's not there anymore. And you hear just kind of like the slight rustle of grass or something as she continues to creep forward to the camp. And I would like to spend a dice, Melissa.
Got it.
Wow.
And yeah, automatic success.
Gandalfs are throwing freely tonight. Look at that. Oh, you rolled a
For
Gandalf
now.
and a Sauron.
I
That
know, I was like,
wow,
what does
was
that
best of both
mean?
worlds there. Yeah, okay. All right, so Gilead, as you move out in front of Floy and Irinial, you've kind of nestled down between what looks like sort of a pile of rocks, this little outcropping dark rock. And as you start to scan around, you notice that they have weapons on them. And you can see that there's a fairly large looking man who is, he's got a helmet kind of on crooked, sitting at what looks like the fire, and he's sort of sharpening this long hafted axe. You notice that there is a couple people that seem to be kind of fixing or arranging this cart. You notice that there's a few others that are, one of them's like kind of up on a ridge. It just looks like a lookout, but they don't seem to notice you. And then you notice a cage in the back, in the kind of the recesses of the camp near where the cart is. And you see within it a person. Steven, you want to describe who they see?
Yes, there is an elf in there. He is average height for an elf, has long brown hair. And if any of you have experience with elves, you'll notice that he is a very weary looking soul. Most elves, the immortality helps them. While they seem mature, they also have a youthful face. He has lines deep set. He's weathered in a way that most elves haven't been. And he is just sitting there very sullenly, almost motionless. You can hardly even tell that he's even trying to resist or anything like that. He's just accepting his fate in the cage.
And Gilly, you look off a few paces away from that cage, and you see there's just a body laying on the ground. You could motionless. You can tell that there's this huge gash down the chest. There's what looks like signs of blood. Someone has died. You're not sure who. That doesn't look like someone dressed like hill folk. You're not
How
sure.
many
exactly
hill
what
folk
animal
do I
skins.
see total?
With your automatic success, you didn't get any. You didn't get any. So you see a total of 5 right now.
A 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Gilly's gonna go back to Irinial and Floy. And like you guys are probably looking around for me, and then just suddenly it seems like I'm there again. And they've taken a prisoner. They killed someone. He's in a cage. We can't stand for this.
Well, how many are there?
I saw 5.
Prisoner? Who is he?
He looks just defeated. But regardless of who he is, he's trapped by them.
I think you probably would have been able to pick out that it was an elf.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
An elf? What's one doing out here?
I don't know, but there was someone else dead. That wasn't the hill folk.
You think we could seek them out while they're distracted?
We could try. We can't just leave him there.
Agreed. We should do what we can.
And
Can I do a battle roll to try to get a layout of the area and like where we could try to kind of sneak up or sneak in?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Okay. Let me just double check what I get with my helm.
Mm-hmm.
So I get 2d6 for my battle skill. So
She has a helm of Argalib the First, Steven. That gives her a bonus. Okay.
I needed it. 16.
Let me show you what it looks like. So this is the general layout on the screen now. Let me zoom in so this looks a little better on the overlay. Not to get it too good. Okay. So I put you all for now, and we can obviously change this up. But I put you all on a ridge to this, a little bit, we'll call it to the west, southwest, and you can see them. They're sort of around what looks like this large kind of rocky wall that's just like you all they were probably using to break the wind that was kind of swooping in last night. Very, very cold. You can see that there's kind of some undulating ridges here and there, so it's not exactly the smoothest terrain. But there are some more beaten paths that are between some of these mounds. But it looks like they have like a nice little kind of sort of sheltered little area. You can see that there's a woman that's kind of up on one of these ridges just south of their camp. And she seems to be like a lookout of some kind, but you don't notice, like she doesn't seem to notice any of you. Your stealth rolls were good enough that she didn't see you approach. And then you can see that, again, two of them are in the back. They're kind of doing something, it looks like, with the cart itself. There's another guy who seems to be kind of moving back and forth here and there and is sort of trying to, every now and then he takes a couple steps towards the fire, steps away, looks to be cooking. And then the large guy who's got like this big old long hafted axe, and he's got a stone, and he seems to be just sort of sharpening it here and there. And then in the back, like beneath these very kind of tall, high rocks, like all of these kind of these darker piles are much higher than all the other kind of stacks here and there. You can see the cage, you can see the elf within the cage, and you can see the dead body that's affixed, situated right next to it. In terms of like how you would approach, so your battle roll would probably conclude that kind of coming at them directly head on, they seem to have a fairly natural choke point right ahead. But if you could potentially kind of spread out either to the east or to the north, or even both, and create kind of like a pincer from flanking on the sides, trying to drop down from the larger like stacks of rocks, those outcroppings, that might be a little dangerous as they are fairly high and rocky, and dropping right down on top of where that cage is could be fairly dangerous. Not impossible, but certainly dangerous. So yeah, definitely going right at them directly would put you in some kind of choke point.
So Auriniel will kind of explain the layout to Gilly and Floy, and just turn to Gilly and say, you were behind us, and then you weren't behind us just suddenly, and you were so quiet. Do you think you might be the best one to go up those rocks over there and try to jump down and free that poor soul in the cage?
You're asking me to go in there by myself.
I mean, of course, Floy and I would have our weapons at the ready and also be coming in on either side as well.
I mean, if you guys like attacked and then Gilly tried to sneak in, sure, but like I think it might be best if we just straight attacked, and then if it's bad, like try and sneak him out, I guess, unless we can't kill them all or something.
My thought was there are 3 of us and 5 of them, but if we're possibly able to get him out, then he might be able to assist.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Got it. Yeah. So maybe
that makes more sense than what she initially presented. Like, so Gilly,
I
why
did-
don't you just head on in
Yeah,
there,
I was like,
break her out? Hey, can you stop and grab some of that bacon for us too on your way out? I'm sure that'd be great.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, I didn't intend to say just go in on your own. That like we'll all have our own role to play, but you seem to be the sneakiest of the sneaky.
I'm just picturing Aragorn saying to Frodo, like, "Hey, you got this, cave troll. Just go, like, walk up,
Just
kick
head
it
on
in the
in.
nuts. It's fine. Yeah, it'll be fine."
They kind of did tell him to just go to Mordor by himself.
He
so
did. He did sort of just do that. Yeah. It's like, it's not you, it's me. All right. So what's the plan?
So yeah, so what is our plan? So what, you and me, Reniel, are heading up this way, and maybe Floyd goes the other way?
East.
Yeah, you guys can flank, and then I'll just show up right at the front door. Like, what's up?
Okay. Gilly, are you going to try to sneak back towards the cage to
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna
let out
attempt
the
another
elf?
stealth roll then.
Okay. So what we'll do, if that's the case, like we're gonna put yourselves. We'll go ahead. We're gonna roll over your stealth test to allow you to kind of set yourselves up into a relative position. And so if that means, so go ahead and, you know, if you're flanking out to the northwest, or if you're flanking out to the southeast, you can move yourself there. Floy, if you're staying right up the middle, just stay where you're at. So Gilly and Aurinial, put yourselves where you think you would want to go.
Would we have to do like a climb roll to like get up over here?
I don't know where here is. Just use cardinal
not
directions. No, I have a
Okay.
lot of screens up. So
Like east.
east. No, the only thing that would require any kind of athletics test would be trying to do anything with those
Northern
rocks that
rocks?
are kind of
Okay.
encompassing the north and eastern sides of their camp. Aurinial, where would you want to be going? So it looks like Gilly has taken up position on the east ridge behind a stack of rocks.
Yeah, I will. So Floy, you said you were going to go straight up the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will swing around and flank to the northwest side.
Okay. Go ahead and move your token to where you want it to be.
Okay. So like over there. Let me know if that's too far.
Okay, so try to describe where you're at, because we are going to eventually release these as podcast eps. So here and there are,
So we are currently,
I've been told.
southwest.
Okay.
And so there, it looks like there's a second ridge line that kind of goes along the northwest side of the camp. So I'm going to try to get up above that.
Okay. So basically, yeah. So it looks like Aurinial and Gilly are kind of doing like a pincer, and then like Floy's going right over the middle. Okay.
Good suggestion in chat. Do we have a spare weapon?
I think all of you have 2 weapons on you.
Yeah, I have a short sword
Okay, perfect.
that I don't necessarily
Yeah, we're about to have
use
5
very
spare
well.
weapons.
Oh, okay.
Cocky dwarf over here. Okay.
Love the
okay.
confidence.
Okay. You're lucky I missed like 50 times with my nameless thing, or I'd be dead. All right. So who's gonna get this thing started? We can do if you want, we can just say you all kind of converge at once. We do opening volleys, and see whether or not like they notice you kind of coming up, or is there some other more interesting plan that you're looking to do here? Thank you, Stanley.
Aurinial is bold, and she is on the opposite side of where Floy is. So Aurinial would be fine to do sort of opening volley from the west side, and hit one of the hill folk that is to the northwest of the fire.
Okay.
And draw the eyes that way.
Okay.
And thank you for those extra bits.
All right. So
Stanley.
all right, we can move. So we can move into opening volley stage. So we can do that. Gilly, I will say this though: if you're looking to
I'm not
sneakily,
breaking stealth.
that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then you won't be doing an opening volley because you want to maintain that stealth roll going to the back. Perfect. All right, we're on the same page. Okay, let's go ahead and throw everybody into the initiative tracker so we can kind of get started. And okay, opening volley. Why is no one on the darn thing? There we are. Okay, opening volley. So Floy, you kind of step out behind your little hiding place. You're at the top of this ridge. You see up ahead, there's like the lookout who's just sort of peering around here and there. Do you have a ranged weapon? Do you have like a spear or something you're throwing at her?
Yeah, I have a spear.
All right, go ahead and make that ranged attack.
And we are up to now 66s. That are up for taking.
66s. So go ahead and
Yeah, I'm trying. The founder's been a bit slow.
just make sure you're targeting. There it goes. Okay, so you step out from
Okay.
behind the rocks. You're at the top of the ridge. You hurl your spear, and as she's kind of gazing, she looks at the very last second, and she sees this hurtling spear coming right at her head, and she just manages to tuck behind what looks like this bit of outcropping of rock, and the blade of the spearhead clanks off of it just at the nick of time. Auriniel, you're up next. Opening volley.
So Reniel has her bow, and so she is going to loose it on the one that she has targeted.
Okay, so the big one.
And she's going to do an extra d6.
Yeah, go for it.
Great
Okay.
success.
Go ahead. So that was on the big one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Do I want to do heavy blow or piercing blow? I guess I'll do piercing blow because I don't have. This isn't my keen weapon.
Well, you've already got your. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and burn a hate to get an extra d6 on my protection roll for this. All right, so I'm gonna take 3 points of damage on my endurance. I'm gonna do my protection roll with a bonus. All right.
Aw.
Okay, so with a 22, I do manage to overcome your injury, and he is not immediately taken out of the fight in the way in which you killed the troll. Okay, so that's opening round. I'm going to say that those who were attacked this round, I'm going to say they're going to be able to act in the opening round of combat, but the other three, I'm going to say they're still like too surprised to know what's going on, and so they're not even going to get an opening round action. So the big guy and the lookout, they're going to get an action. The other three won't. So let's go ahead and shift into stances. So go ahead and set your stances.
Forward.
You only know one stance. I'm pretty sure Floyd's stance button is broken because that's all he ever is in.
Best stance.
I'll do open.
And I'm assuming you're gonna stay Gilly in like rearward or whatever it is.
Yeah, just because like at this point she's just trying to sneak in. more
Yeah,
than
you're not
anything.
really looking. You're just trying to keep stealthy. Sure. Okay. All right. And then in terms of engagement, because only two of them are aware, you guys can go ahead and set your engagements this round. But if all of them are still around after this, they'll be able to set targets because they outnumber you. But because only two of them are kind of aware a fight is breaking out, we'll set our targets. So Floyd hops down from the ridge, runs across. Dwarves are natural sprinters, scrambles up the rocks and kind of
Natural
reaches
predators.
around. Has the axe ready to swing down at this lookout. Go ahead and roll there, Floyd. Your attack.
Came out a success, clean 7 damage.
All right. No piercing blow, nothing like that.
Nope, just a regular old swing.
All right. So she takes the hit. Easy peasy. Okay, Auriniel, you're up next.
Okay. Bow is away. Short sword is up, and she is going to go running in as well.
Run to the edge of this ridge and just kind of hop down as you're
Yep.
swinging down in the process. Go ahead and you're attacking the big one.
Yep, and I am going to
This is bold.
spend a fellowship point.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. Am I? Yeah, I will. Sword. Oh no, that looked awful. So, like, last second, she like trips on like a rock or something, and she's like trying to jump over and just like misses her target.
Yeah, you jump down, but you can see he's actually much quicker than you kind of give him credit for, and he's able to just sort of swing his body out of the way. Maybe he taps you with like the sort of the half side of his axe to help sort of deflect your blow into the ground. Okay, Gilly, you want
many
to try.
twos.
You want to try to. So I'm not going to have you roll another stealth. Your stealth
Okay.
is so good, so you're good there. So you're just trying to essentially get all the way back into the rear parts of the camp without worrying about anything else. You're not trying to break your stealth. You're
Yeah,
just trying to
I
get
wanna-
back there.
I want to try and get back there, not break my stealth, and then eventually find a spot to hide to break that cage open.
Okay. So I think that main task, just moving across the battlefield, will work for this case. So we'll say
Okay.
just move yourself, and you can like literally just get and hop down right near where that dead body has been nestled down. And so Gilly, you just drop down. You see this huge slash across the chest for someone, and you find a little handful of rocks, and you look out and you see the elf in front of you. Erebon, go ahead and roll an awareness. See if you notice this hobbit that pops out out of nowhere. You do. Your very keen elvish eyes notice, despite your kind of malaise, you do see like just this whir of like this small little shadow that just quickly appears at the ridgeline above where your cage is and just hops down and nestles behind what looks like a rock. You also hear the sounds of battle beginning to unfold out in front.
My Gavanin little one.
Okay. So then the hillfolk will go next. Again, only 2 of them are going to get their opening round actions. Only the ones that have been attacked. The other 3 are kind of still like they're scrambling around for their weapons. 2 of them were messing around with the cart. One of them was getting food, so they're like diving around for the weapons. The other 2 were ready. One of them had his weapon he was sharpening. The other one was literally serving as a lookout. So the champion, the big one, is going to target Iriniel. The lookout will go ahead and obviously target Floy. So the big one is going to... Yeah, so the big one's just going to kind of heft this huge axe, 2-handed, above his head. Now, this person is you're not a short person, Iriniel. You're fairly tall and to yourself, but this one kind of towers over you as the full breadth of his height kind of stands over top of you, and he takes this big wind-up swing and smashes it down on top of you. I will go ahead and just roll this straight up.
This could hurt.
Not if I roll a frickin' 5. Sauron is not with me today. Next...
You rolled a Gandalf. That's what happened.
I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. All right, so then the cook, the cart, the people, and then finally the lookout will go. We'll target Floy. After the swing kind of ducks down underneath, and then it will kind of come back at you. I will burn a hate to get an extra bonus die on this because I want to make sure I hit. So she's going to swing out at you. There we go. So as you scramble up...
Oh, no.
Yeah. I realized that I haven't really been burning hate to get extra bonus die, and I was doing a last perusal of like combat rules. I realized, oh yeah, I can do this, can't I? All right, so this one's just going to heavy blow it, I think. So I got 2 extra successes. I'm just going to do heavy blows both times. 13 points of damage as Floy. You scramble up, you swing out at this lookout, and the lookout is able to kind of sidestep the worst parts of your swing, but you still manage to catch her. But then she comes back down over top of you, what looks like this axe, and gets you for 13 damage right down into your shoulder. All right, that's the end of that round. Now we're gonna go to next round. Everyone can set stances. Oh, you know what, Erebon? Was there something you wanted to try to do on your turn on that round? I know you're stuck within a cage. Is there something you wanted to try to do?
No, I would assume I don't have most of my gear. So I would just make eye contact with the little lady that showed up and watch what's unfolding, I guess.
So how familiar are you with like the rules, like the combat tasks and things like that? Because you can also do things like you can potentially use a combat task in some ways.
I read through that. I know how it works, but at the same time, I don't really know these people, and I don't know necessarily what's going on. So I think I would just wait.
All right. Sounds good. I just don't want to shortchange it. All right. Go ahead and set your stances.
No change for Iriniel.
Okay.
Yeah, no change.
All right. Floy, you're up. You just took a big meaty swing down on top of your head. What do you do?
It wasn't personal before, but now it's personal. I'll swing back.
Okay, go for it.
Do you want a fellowship point or D6 or anything?
No,
This
it's
is
a
Floy you're talking to.
great success, so I'll spin it on a heavy blow.
Yeah, go for it.
14 damage back.
Yeah, describe your kill.
I
Ooh.
just underestimated these guys, so I just like tank her axe into my shoulder, and I leave it there and just swing back at her.
Okay.
Same shoulder hit.
Yeah, and so you just swing back, and you just feel like your axe just land perfectly right in her side, and she just sort of shudders and falls limp to the ground. Yeah, that'll do it for her. Okay, Aurenial, you're next in open stance.
All right, so I'm going to try again. So now that I'm not trying to do Floyd-like acrobatics with this kind of jumping off cliff nonsense. I just need to kind of get my feet solidly on the ground, and just take a solid swing and see what I can do.
Gilly's not even watching. What were you showing off for, you know?
And I am going to take one of the D6s.
There you go.
All right. So I will go ahead and
Probably just heavy blow. It doesn't look
Yeah,
like it gets
heavy
to your
blow.
piercing. Yeah.
10 damage.
Okay. Nothing I can do about it, so I will just take it. Okay.
Champion v champion here.
Oh, the cleverness. All right, Erebon and Gilly. Either of you want to do anything over by the cage now?
Is there a lock upon the cage?
It does appear that there's some kind of sort of rope that seemed to be jammed around, like wrapped up tightly, but you don't see like an actual lock with key requirement. No.
So Gilly would like to kind of like move and kind of like use Airborne to hide behind
Sure.
as she gets out her short sword, and she's gonna like basically work on getting the rope off.
Okay. If you're trying to stay stealthy now, I'll say roll a
Do
stealth
another roll.
test to see if you can do all that without them noticing. But if you fail, then you're still going to be successful at cutting the ropes. That's not a problem. It's just a question of whether they see you while you're doing it.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a success.
At one
Yay.
point, you see one of the heads like kind of whip around of the guy who's doing the cooking, and he looks and he kind of peers down at Erebon, but doesn't notice you as you have now like hidden in the shadow of Erebon in the kind of the back of the camp there.
And then-
okay.
Gilly's back there. Hi. It's not really the greatest time, but we'd like to get you out of here, and I'm really sorry about your friend. Yeah, my name's Gilly, and she's just trying to be quiet. And
You have my thanks, for I do not wish to die. I am Erebon.
hopefully you know how to fight. I'm not really great.
So Erebon, you see as she's just sort of carving through the ropes that are tying the cage. Like, this is a crude cage. It's salvage. It's not something that's particularly well made. But what they've been doing is while they sleep, they put you in the cage. But during the day, you've been pulling the cart for them, essentially. So if you want, why don't you roll like an athletics test, Erebon, to see if you can knock with Gilly cutting open the ropes. If you can knock this out, you can just jump into the combat next round. Okay, so Gilly, you finish cutting through the ropes, or as you get close enough where Erebon, you can just kind of lay a little bit of your strength into it, and you hear the last bits of the rope just sort of rip and tear apart as the gate swings open. And Erebon, you'll be able to do whatever you want next round. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Let's continue then to the hill folks. Now I'm going to do assignments here. So because they technically outnumber you, the guy who's been cooking is going to charge at Floy. One of the people that were by the cart is also going to charge at Floy, and I'm going to assign another one over to Aureliel because they're still not 100% sure what's going on. He peeked back, he looked, he didn't see anything. The two of you were managing to open up the cage stealthily, so they're still just assuming there's two active combatants in the fight. And so for this round at least, it's going to be 2 on Aureliel and 2 on Floy. So the champion will go next. He will target... he'll target... He's going to target Aureliel. I'm going to spend 1 point to get this attack at favored.
Oh.
I'm going to use its Fierce Folk ability. And then you are...
The recommendation to chat that we should run away as fast as Airborne can run.
Okay. Not a bad idea. All right, so this is going to be favored. Take the best. All right. And I still miss, just barely. I was wondering if I should have spent an extra hate, but I didn't. Now I regret it. So despite the fact that you are now outnumbered, Aureliel, as they bring the axe down, you manage to sidestep it just in time. It's a fairly large axe. It's kind of slow moving. If it hits you, it hurts, but you do manage to step underneath it, and it smashes down into the ground. Next up, it will be one of the cook that charged at Floy after the lookout died. All right, so it'll go ahead and take Floy as its target. I'm gonna burn a hate. I'm gonna burn a point to get this at favored using its Fierce Folk ability. It's gonna swing at you with its axe. I'm gonna burn another hate to get a bonus die as well. I'm gonna take this freaking dwarf out.
How much hate do you have?
4. Though, why did I tell you that? I don't really know.
As a GM or as a person?
As a, as a
I
person.
notice how there's 4 of us. Okay.
Okay, I got a 9 on that feat
That's a lot.
die. I can use one, so I can do a piercing blow, which will get me. Yeah, I can do a piercing blow with one of these. Okay, I'm gonna do a piercing blow and a heavy blow. So it's 9 points of damage.
Oh my gosh.
On Floy, and Floy, you need to make a protection test against the axe that just swooped down on top of you to avoid a wound. Okay, you are
looks like
protected.
that's good.
Yeah, it's that mithril, that new mithril you have. Is again, it slashes down through you. It catches your arm, kind of drives the blade of the axe down from right where your neck was almost unprotected, and tries to carve down the side of your arm, almost like it's trying to just rip your arm right off with it. But the mithril is enough to keep it from injuring you too significantly. Next up, it'll be the other raider. I'm gonna do the same thing I just did with this other one that is now on Floy. I'm gonna burn some hate to target old Floy. Bonus die. Feet favored. So I'm using Fierce Folk and I'm just burning it. Only 1 this time.
Oh,
So
that's I'm sorry.
I will. I don't think they're gonna last too long. I'm just gonna add more damage. I feel like I'm wearing them down. So 7 more.
Where are you at, Floyd?
Oh, yeah, that's. I'm in single digits. here.
Oh,
About-
no.
Oh my
what are you-
god, Jeff!
What? Me? What? Me?
You're not allowed to play Holler anymore.
I don't. I know.
Cut off.
It's savage.
No
I play a
more.
lot of Savage Worlds. I feel. I enjoy killing players. Not the characters, the players themselves.
And I eat a wound here as well.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no. Oh no. Go ahead and mark your wounded thing, and we'll do the roll. Let me see. I think I made something for it. Yeah, wound severity table. If you want to roll on that, it's in the roll table folder
Okay.
on the upper right. Okay.
Nice.
So where do you think it's hitting you? Like as they're kind of coming around and hacking at you here and there, where do you think the injury where did they get you this time?
They're getting me in my shoulders.
Okay.
Just repeatedly
So
striking there.
yeah, so just because they're trying, because you're shorter than them, and so they're constantly just bringing their axes down vertically on you, like your head dodging out of the way, but it's frequently getting you, and maybe your shoulders separated or something by the blunt of the axe. Okay, I think there's one more on Arinial, I believe, and so Arinial, this one's going to target you.
Yep.
This one's going to do similar. I'm going to be spending some hate here.
Aurinial is going to look over and see that there's some destruction happening to Floy. And be
Oh, don't
concerned.
worry. I'm not leaving you out. As these are fairly strong. I can't get a piercing blow out of this, so I'm just going to do a heavy blow. 9 points of damage.
Nope.
As you are now being overwhelmed by two of them. But the good news is that we are switching to a new round. At this point, the sound of the cage kind of wrenching free, some of the combatants turn around and they notice that two of you have, or at least Erebon himself is kind of broken free, and they start yelling alarms. And so we now have an actual new combatant. Gilly, do you give the short sword to Erebon, or okay?
Yeah, I give him my short sword.
Would
Right,
I
so for
also
now-
know where my gear was that they took from me?
In the cart for sure.
Gotcha.
But you can if you want, you can just grab a short sword for now.
Yeah, I'll take the short sword for now.
Yeah, and it's in the items directory if you want to drag it over.
Got it.
Okay, so let's talk about stances. What y'all thinking? And
Sticking
all
with
of it, this is
defensive.
all four. Yeah, there's 4. So it's even now. So you're all going to be able to set your assignments, your engagements.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll stay.
Offensive. Okay.
Gilly is gonna stay rearward.
Okay. Sounds good.
Forward.
Floyd, what are you thinking?
I'm still going forward.
Floy never changes.
You are
forward.
insane. You're insane. I'm gonna kill him.
Defensive might be a good idea. Just saying.
Okay.
It's just 1d6. It's fine.
Yeah.
You just
You are brave, right? That is one of your
okay.
No,
traits.
just proud
You're-
and
It's
wary.
yours.
No, I'm just dumb. One of my things is just dumb.
You're proud to use a
Stubborn?
shield.
Are you stubborn?
Are
okay.
dwarves stubborn? Does that track?
Well, I mean, some of them are. I'm sure. Let's see. So now I'm gonna have to assign one of the. So one of these is gonna end up probably one of these is gonna probably run back towards Erebon and take care of the cage. So, Floyd, there's probably only gonna be a 1 on you. We'll say the male raider that's on you will run back. So you see him start to kind of move back. So essentially, I'm assigning him. Works a little differently. I'm not sure how much combat you've watched yet, Steven, but okay. Floyd, it's your turn. As you see, one of them has turned around and is kind of chasing down. You see the cage behind in the back of the camp is now freeing this elf. Floyd, you see one of them move away, and you're left with just one target engaged with you. What do you want to do?
Come on now. You're gonna regret not finishing me off. I'll just keep attacking her.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Piercing blow.
Shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Does she have any hate? I will burn a hate to get an extra die on my protection roll.
Oh,
And I
no.
do not take a wound. But I do
7
take
damage.
that 7 points of damage as you manage to hack her right in the side. You can hear the wind almost kind of expunge out of her breath like that. We're going to move over to open stance. Arinial, you're up. You still got 2 of them on you. You have noticed that combat seems to have changed. Floy has managed to take one out. And it looks like a new combatant is ready to enter into the fray.
All right. She would like to spend a fellowship point. To Sorry about that. I had to sneeze.
Thanks, Tools Twitch. You got 4 more.
Ooh.
I don't know why they like you guys so much. It's weird.
Oh, I'm gonna spend one of
Sure,
those.
it'll change as I play more.
Oh yeah, don't worry. That's for sure. They're gonna be.
All right.
They're gonna be like,
and bonus.
here's a couple hundred, but just caveat: Steven can't use any of them.
You'll be getting tons more bits, but they'll all go to Jeff.
All right.
These
it
have to
is-
specifically be used to kill Steven's
Oh.
character.
All right. So it was keen, which means it's already piercing.
Yeah.
And so I spent it on the extra damage.
And that is a wise choice, as that will take him to 0 endurance. And you see, so describe how you take him out here.
So
big
I, again, just kind of saw that Floyd's been, kind of taking some damage, and that just kind of gives me some extra. And so I just, it's just kind of the torque, kind of like just a swing of that sword, almost baseball swing, like just kind of through the midsection.
Okay, sounds good. So the big champion guy falls down. His long hafted axe just goes clattering to the ground. Erebon, you're in defensive stance. There's one that's engaged with you. Is this one that's kind of moved back? So you
Right.
are freely able to step up and do something to him if you like.
So main action normally includes picking up a weapon that was previously dropped. Would that count as like me grabbing the sword from Gilly then?
No, I'm gonna say that happened in the last round. Like,
Okay.
you guys did it. You guys, I don't want to take you out of another round of action. So we'll say the short sword was handed over to you. So you have the short sword in hand. So
Okay.
You-
Then I will try to feel the weight of the sword a little bit as I start walking towards the hill folk that I assume is running towards me, stepping out of the cage a little bit.
okay, yeah, exactly.
And how do I specifically target in
Yeah,
Foundry?
click. So there's a couple different shorthands. I click the token I want to target and I press T. I think you guys
Double
you guys
right click.
double.
You can also
you guys
double right
right-click?
click. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. You also one of the other things to think about doing is you can spend stuff. So you have hope, or if you're using one of your distinctive features, or if you wanted to tap into like the audience purchase stuff as well. So those are types of things when you pop up, you can add
Right.
various stuff.
I'm good
Okay.
with this for now, though. Just
That's fine.
stepping forward and swiping at him, but my heart's not really in it yet. I'm just getting out of the cage, and I'm still kind of tired and worn.
Fair enough. Gilly.
Okay, so Gilly finally got her task done. So she's looking around the battlefield and she sees this one guy coming up and he's engaging with this guy, but then she also sees Floy, and I presume I kind of see a Renial, but I don't really see who's attacking her because the rocks, I presume.
Yeah,
So
but you
she's
do
gonna
see a very tall man with an axe just suddenly fall backwards into the ground, his axe going scattering. So you get the presumption that she might be doing decently well, at least,
Okay.
as it looks
Yeah.
like she's taken one of them out.
So Gilly's just like, okay, so then, but she's gonna target the one closest to Floy because that's really the other guy's kind of close.
Okay.
I am going to spend one of our dice, Melissa.
Okay. One quick thing. Is Floyd your fellowship focus?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
he
good
got
catch. I forgot
wounded,
about that. Yeah.
which
you.
means you get a shadow point.
Okay.
Yeah, as you look over at him, you can see his arms just sort of drooping down. Blood is just sort of dripping down from his arm, and it's barely even usable at this point as he's just sort of trying to lift it up and get into the combat fight. But he's still, like Floyd does, all he knows is offense. The best defense is a good offense for Floyd.
So that's got her a little nervous. So
Okay.
I really want to hit this. So Melissa, I'd like to spend 2 actually.
Got it.
And I still fail. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's the flickering flames of the fire that you have to, kind of shoot over. It's having that kind of oasis sort of feel to it. It's just sort of blurring your vision just ever so slightly, just enough for your arrow to go barely wide. Which means I now have the opportunity to kill not 1, but 2 characters. All right, so first of all, I'm going to attack Steven for the first time.
Savor the moment. I know you've been looking forward to
I
it.
am going to burn so much hate right now. And I'm
That's
also
DM hate or
going
Jeff
to
hate?
I'm also going to have this character burn a bunch of hate to make this attack even better. And plus you're in defensive, so that's going to hurt one of my dice. So I'm gonna get I hate to get bonus die. Okay, here we go. So it's gonna charge in, and as you sort of surprise it as you have a sword, which is and it just like shouts some kind of alarm, and then it's going to try to sweep at you and attack. And all hail Sauron, as Sauron has once again come to dinner.
Thank you, Aaron.
Oh, Aaron,
We've
thanks
got
so much for
more.
helping me kill the characters here. Let's see. So what you can do, Steven, is right in the chat window, see where it says protection roll test. You can just click on that right there. Now, when it does the pop-up, if you wanted to spend like a fellowship point or something like that to get a bonus die, or if you wanted to spend one of our audience points for a bonus die, you can
Yeah, I mean,
always do
Aaron
that.
just donated along with a couple others, so I'll take a bonus die from that pool.
Okay.
He specifically just said he wants to make it easy for me to murder the fellowship.
I think you missed an important word.
I'm an English
I
professor.
am
I think I know how to read.
I feel
Okay.
ya.
Oh no.
Sadly, I've immediately wounded Stephen.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. All right, so Stephen, over in the roll table submenu, there's a wound severity table. Just go ahead and roll on that. All right, so this is not so. One day, so it's not so bad. So
Yeah, no big
you're
deal.
in defensive. Maybe you managed to get the short sword down just in time to keep it from being anything worse, but you're not, like you said, as used to the balance yet, and it still manages to just kind of drive its axe right into like your thigh, and you feel just a little bit of the blade kind of crack into the meat of your leg. Next up, it's going to be the raider that's toe to toe with Floy.
This is your
Sadly,
chance. Get a hit.
sadly, I
down.
don't have a lot left to do anything with here, so it's just a straight up attack on Floy here. But this is it. Come on, Sauron, you can do it. Put a little power to it.
Oh my
Sauron.
fucking god.
That's the third one.
Wow.
Sauron
Oh,
was
wow.
with me. Okay, so you're gonna take 13 points of damage.
This will drop me
Boy.
to 0. So I'll
Okay.
just keel over.
So you just go out. You're not dead. But your endurance is at 0, and you're effectively out of the fight. Okay, I only rolled a 2 on my feet die, so I really couldn't get the piercing blow on you. But I did roll a couple 6s on my success die, and I tell you, man, it's fun. It's really fun. Yeah. Okay. So Floy goes down. A few steps away, over by Aurinial, who has just taken out the champion, the leader of this clan of raiders here, is going to target Aurinial and try to do the same thing. I'm running out of hate, but I do have enough. I can spend 1, so I'm going to make this favored. So I'm going to use my Fierce Folk ability and roll at favorite against Aurinial. That will hit. Go ahead and make your protection roll, but you can burn audience points if you want to add to your protection roll.
Yes, please. I
Yeah, go
will
ahead.
also spend 2.
It's only a regular success too, so it's 5 points of damage, and then you got to roll.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, go ahead and
Oh
roll on
my
the.
Gosh.
Go ahead and roll on the injury table there,
I
Melissa,
don't
please.
want to.
We get Steven, we die.
I think we see the connection, right? So this
I
will
see
be
it plain as day.
This will be Stephen's last.
Yeah, Holler, Jeff's bloodthirsty is what I'm seeing.
Only 2 days. Only 2 days. It's not so bad. Not so bad.
I'm sorry to have brought this down on you all. You didn't deserve it.
Wow.
All right, Floy is out, but we are starting a new round. Okay, Aurinial, you're still up. Erebon and Gilly, so stances for the 3 of you.
Yeah, sticking in defensive.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
I'm
still
gonna
gonna
need
try and
to
shoot her.
switch to defensive if I can.
Okay. You might as well go into the defensive and then burn the audience points for favored and
Yeah,
bonus
that's what I
points.
was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Aurenial, Erebor are both in defensive now, and I'm gonna say that this one that took out Floy is gonna. I mean, you're closest to you, Aurenial, probably is going to end up engaging with you.
No.
So it's what 1, 2, 3. All right. And you're still staying in rearward, right there,
Yeah.
Gilly?
Mhm.
All right, Aurenial, you're up first.
Oh my,
Oh
because I don't
gosh.
have my sword or anything anymore. I give it to Airborne.
It's funny. You just learned that one rule that I could burn hate to get extra bonus die, and because I completely forgot about it. And suddenly the combats just look way more deadly, don't they? Way deadlier.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right, I am going to
Look
hit
at
this
that.
thing.
Who would have thought?
I am going to.
I took off my
Right.
ankle weights, and I'm ready to go. I've been playing with ankle weights this whole time.
Goku taking off his
It's
key.
All right, I needed to target a different one because the other one I killed. So I'm going to use my keen sword, and I'm going to spend a fellowship point, and I'm going to spend 2 of our audience.
All right, 3 points of damage.
We're down
Not
to
a lot of
3
damage.
fellowship.
Bringing it back though. Bringing it back.
Not a lot of damage. I think that's the first damage he's taken, unfortunately. So he'll be around. Looks like for the next round. Erebon, you're up.
Okay. How many audience points do we have left?
5.
5. Okay. I walked forward and I took a half-hearted slash and I got cut in return, and that kind of awakened something in me, and I start to realize that this is real and I need to put some heart into this. And I will burn 2 of those audience dice.
There you go. That was good. Oh boy,
Ooh.
that's a good one right there.
Okay, and I'm gonna burn one of those for piercing then, or use one of the successes for piercing.
Yeah. So your short sword, Ashley,
Currently at a
Yeah.
7.
does it have any rewards added onto it, or is it just a
No,
regular?
it's just my
Okay.
bow. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just regular. All right.
Okay,
all right.
I'll turn it into heavy blow then.
Yeah. So that would just do extra damage.
For
Yeah, go
both
for
of those.
Mhm.
Do I have to roll something for that?
You should be
It
able.
should
It should
click
have
OK.
a pop up, and you just click OK. If you just select heavy blow from that pop up, and then you hit OK, and it should roll the
I
damage for you.
might have closed the pop-up by accident. I do not see it.
Okay, no worries. Heavy blow is.
It adds your strength. So what is your strength?
Well, yeah. What's your strength?
My strength rating is 6.
So 6, and did you have 2 heavy blows?
I had 2 successes, yes.
Okay, so 2 extra successes. So that's
The basic damage of a short sword is 3.
so it's 12. So it's 15 points of damage.
All right.
Right?
Ooh.
Am I doing my math
Sorry
right?
about that.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay. And he collapses.
All right.
That's what I want to hear.
Yes, as you have taken out the cook, and he was your best friend. You know, he's the one who treated you nice, gave you food, and now you killed him.
I don't have friends,
It's-
Jeff.
I believe you. Gilly, it's your
God.
turn. There we go.
Gilly saw
Man, this is
Floyd just
going
kind of like
just.
drop to his
exciting.
knee as he took
Oof.
that wound, and now he's just kind of collapsed on the ground. And do I take another one because he took another wound? Or
He didn't take a second wound. He just
Okay,
took
cool.
his endurance was depleted. That's all.
So I
So
am...
Floy, actually, we might want to backtrack a second for Floy here. There's something
Okay.
I should tell you. So there is something we never do, and you might want to do it here on this. You
Oh
would need
yeah.
It's called knockback. We never do this. So sometimes an attack is so powerful that a fighter prefers to roll with the punches and reduce the force of the blow by giving ground. So once each round, player heroes can have the endurance loss caused by a successful attack, rounding up, by choosing to instead be knocked back. So they will spend their next main action recovering their fighting position. So basically, what you could have done is you could have cut the damage that she did to you with her attack in half, and if that wouldn't have dropped you to 0, you could still be in the fight. You just wouldn't have been able to take an attack this turn because you would have spent your main action scrambling back up towards her.
Oh, I see. That would have been nice enough. That's
You
fine.
could do it now. I don't mind rolling because she
For
hasn't.
that
She
attack,
hasn't.
that wouldn't have helped.
It wouldn't have helped. Okay, so even
Yeah.
that wouldn't.
If I did have
alright.
like every attack, yeah, but it's too late for that.
But it does mean you wouldn't be able to get your attacks off though, because it
Right.
means your main task is replacing your combat. So you're basically like defending
Just,
yourself
like,
a little bit
tanking,
more and foregoing an attack. Okay. So yeah, Gilly, go ahead, and you're still attacking the one that just took out Floy.
You muted.
Yeah, I'm still attacking the one that attacked Floy. Can I have dice, please, Melissa?
Of course.
Actually,
left.
there's infinite number of digital dice in Foundry, so why you're asking them.
Oh.
Fuck, damn it.
Performance anxiety.
Gilly just
I
can't
guess.
shoot tonight.
Shooting blanks, as I believe what you like that.
I don't think
sorry.
that's a problem I have.
Apparently, it seems to be, as that's 2
You
shots
normally
in a row.
She normally has a short sword that like acts as a counterbalance to her, and she's leaning a little too far left.
Too
now.
light. She's too light right now. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so the raider that was on Floy will engage instead with Erebon, I think, since I think we'll make it even. And Irinial has got one on her. So we got one on Erebon, one on Irinial. The one on Erebon will go. I don't have anything. It's just a straight up attack. There's nothing I can do with it. So I am out of resources, and that will be a miss. Then the one that's on. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the one I put on. I was accidentally targeting Irinial, so I'll just do it in inverse order. My bad. So this
Okay.
one will attack. They have the same stats, so it's no big deal. So this one's going to. So the next one's going to be on Erebon. So the first one swung at Irinial and missed. Now this next one's going to swing at Erebon, and will hit. Of course I will. Okay, so this is a wound. So you might want to use whatever you can to get as much. You know what you can do, Erebon. I believe you should look at your. I think it's your cultural. Your cultural
Elven
virtue.
skill.
You might want to burn that here, so you automatically pass your protection test, so that you don't die.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I will use my centuries of training, my elven skill. If I am not miserable, I can spend 1 point of hope to achieve a magical success on a skill roll.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice.
Okay. We go to the top of the round.
I still take the 5 damage to my endurance, though.
Yes,
right?
the endurance still happens. It's just the protection roll test. Irinial, Erebon, you guys, you two staying in defensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, this is on a nice edge. All right, Irinial. What do you want to do?
Gosh. I hate being selfish with, I feel like I've done most of the fellowship, but I also don't want to die.
So I'll tell you this. The
So-
one that's on Erebon looks to be fairly wounded. Definitely in a worse state than the one that's on you, Irinial. You've only done a kind of a light wound against it. It doesn't seem to be in that much damage. So
I'll
keep that in
take-
mind.
I'll take a fellowship.
Okay.
But I'll leave 2 fellowship and 2
God, I can't believe-
D6s.
Okay. So you're rolling at ill-favored, right?
Why am I rolling it ill-favored?
I think because are you?
She's
it's-
spending fellowship.
Well, no. I mean, it rolled you at ill-favored.
Yeah, it gave you the lowest of the two.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because of weary.
Oh, you're weary. Okay. Yeah. You're weary and you're below. Okay. Yeah, I see. All right. Arabon. Excuse me. I'm still gonna use your name.
Okay. I will burn the one of the audience D6s here.
Okay.
Okay.
One left.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. And you see, as I'm having that problem again where I'm freezing up.
Oh no.
Okay. This one, not dead yet, but definitely leans down a bit, winded. Gilly, can you take? She definitely seems like the best one. She's primed to get taken out. If you could possibly finish her off, the one that's on your elvish friend.
Yeah, we'll see. Ugh. And I can't
God.
spend a hope.
I thought for sure you guys had this one, so Reniel took the big guy out.
Yeah.
I
Why
guess
can't you spend hope?
It'll make me miserable, but I guess I'll do it anyways. Control click, right? Or there we go.
Stanley says that all my hate makes my heart and computer cold and frozen as ice. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
And then since I'm weary, I'm gonna spend one of our fellowship to make it not ill-flavored or ill-favored.
Okay.
Sauron's my Mick. We're doing a Rocky montage. I'm Rocky. Sauron is Mickey. Come on, Rock! This guy's little cap on, chasing the chicken.
There you go.
There it is, and that'll do it. I think.
Okay.
Hang on, how much damage did you do? No, 4 points of damage is not enough, actually. No, wait, yeah, it is. Yeah,
But
you're
you
good.
need to roll for a wound.
Unless the damage is
I
enough.
can do damage.
Oh yeah.
Then it.
Damage actually wasn't enough because it had 6. It went down to 2, but the wound is enough to kill it. This one only has a might of 1. So this one will fall. So yes, you do in fact take the one. So Erebon, you're standing there, you're swinging, you're parrying, and all of a sudden you go, and you just see an arrow just take it right dead smack in the heart, and you see she falls in front of you.
That's
Now
twice
it's
now
just-
you've saved me, little one.
Please, we need. Floy fell, and Gilly will use what little movement she has to start to come forward.
Okay. All right. Okay, so new round. Any stance changes? Actually, no, wait, I'm sorry, the raider gets to go. The one that's on Aurelio, my bad.
Oh. Darn it.
Thought I was going to forget, did you?
Here goes.
I don't have anything to spend, so it's just a straight up attack on you. And you are in defensive, so it's not
Yes, I
going to be
am.
easy to hit. Especially when I roll a
No.
1. So it ineffectually swings. You can tell he's exhausted, and he's looking around. He's seeing all of his
Yeah.
clanmates are fallen around him. So, top of the round, Aureliel, you get to go first.
All
Usually-
right.
Do you want? you
Top
want
of
to
the
stay in
round, I'm going to
defensive?
change my stance to forward.
Okay, then you are actually first.
Oh, okay.
Because it goes by.
Sorry, Aureliel. Not trying to cut in front of you there.
Go right ahead.
Infinite Monkey Tales, thank you for the raid. We are playing Wandering
welcome.
2nd Edition tonight. Appreciate it. We are introducing a new character tonight, and we are just finishing up
sacrificing our
an extraordinarily close fight.
our lives to save
Yeah.
him.
All right.
Secondary action, would I be able to get over to that last raider?
Absolutely, yeah, it's close enough.
Okay. Then I will just straight up swing on him now that I've seen that the majority of the danger has passed. I'm starting to come to life now, and I will not burn any bonus dice.
Oh,
And that's what happens.
Oh,
that
no.
is what happens.
I enjoy when Steven gets all cocky. He's like, I'm gonna go into forward stance, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna I don't gotta do anything. Snake eyes. And one
You
of
know
those
what, Jeff?
dice
I
is a
enjoy
D12.
making you happy, so I'm glad. I'm glad it worked.
I
out for
don't
you.
think that's true. I feel like I've known you long enough to know that that is an utter lie.
No,
You're
but I meant your
brazenly
mercy, so
lying
I've
to
gotta...
All right, Iridial, you're up. I
Right,
will
so
say,
this is the last one, right?
yeah, and I will say we did this before, and so it's only fair for me to offer it to you. This wouldn't have affected Eberron's roll, but I will give you an advantage of +1 bonus because you are kind of flanking this guy, and we did that last time with the wargs, so it's only fair to give you that bonus as well. You rolled Snake Eyes, so it wouldn't have affected your roll at all, but Arenio, you can take it because it might affect yours.
Okay. Would like to still leave a fellowship and an audience dice because
For the
we're
next
gonna
party?
need to
Yeah.
do some healing, I believe.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Mhm.
Okay, go right ahead.
Bless
Sorry,
you.
had to pause for sneeze.
We're trying to do a professional show here, Melissa. Come on.
Allergies. Allergies.
At least she was
Melissa-
muted for the sneeze.
Melissa forgot to take her allergy pill last night, so she's been
did.
she's just getting
And
wrecked by
I
her allergies
missed.
today. Oh my god, another set of double ones. Look at that. But at least those extra fellowship points will be there for the next party. So that's great. All right, Gilly.
Yeah.
You're still in rearward. You are up. Can you do something about this?
Let's try and shoot him.
Go for it. I'm going to... If they're up, I'm still going to make a resolve. I'm going to make a little test here and see if they're going to try to run as they
Now,
are
mind you,
extraordinary.
I'm miserable, so it's ill-favored now. And I really want to save that dice for healing.
But it's for Floy.
For Floy. Yeah.
It's for Floy.
Yes. Everything we do it for Floy.
Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great, Infinite Monkey
You're
Tales. I mean, I'm feeling good.
Oh no!
But there you go!
Oh, you
There
got
you
it. Okay,
go.
good.
Okay, Gandalf shows up at the last second. 4 points of damage. That is not enough to take him out.
No.
However,
It
is enough
is
to get
a
him.
grievous foul. So I don't know if it's...
Okay, so I'm trying to remember what those mean off the top
Gotta
of my
stay
head.
hydrated in chat, everybody.
It should be in your character sheet. If you look at the rewards, it should tell you. So yeah, fell weapon is raise the injury rating by 2, and then grievous weapon is raise the damage rating of that weapon by 1.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
All right,
I'm
so those
thinking
are
of
all.
the other
They should
thing.
be accounted for. Yeah. Okay. So, because I think it's normally it's base damage 3, and you got the extra 1.
Mhm.
It's enough to bring it
Yeah.
down. And I'm going to say this is that what it's going to do is I'm going to roll. I'm gonna roll a test here to see. I'm gonna do one of those kind of like morale type tests as it sees everyone here. I'm gonna roll a feat die. I'm gonna roll a d6. I'm gonna see if it passes. Yeah, it's gonna look around at this point with a total of an 11, which is not gonna be enough for what I wanted on its morale. It's gonna look around and it's going to attempt to run, to flee. He's not wounded, so he can move. He's taken a couple hits, but he sees his kind of clan leader on the ground. He sees the rest of you. I mean, like, although they've managed to take one of you out, 3 of you are still up. Blood is everywhere. People are wounded, and it's going to take this opportunity in its combat task, and he's just going to scramble up the rocks here and try to flee. Now, we'll move to the next round, and you guys can tell me: do you want to let him flee, or do you want to chase him down? So if you want to chase him down, we'll stay in combat. We'll stay in combat initiative, but it's up to you.
Reniel would switch to rearward, and if she can swap out for her bow, she would like to shoot him.
Okay. I think that's fair. He did scramble up, so I'll say... no, I mean, you guys have enough negatives on you. Yeah, we'll say go ahead, and anyone who's got a ranged weapon, you don't have a
Just do
spear
like
or
an
anything on you.
opportunity attack.
Well, yeah, so if the two of you aren't chasing, in this case, this is a special case where I think it makes sense to have more than one person in rearward because it's running away. So the two of you can fire. So go ahead and both of you resolve a ranged attack against the fleeing.
A closing
raider.
volley.
Yeah, closing volley. Well said. That's a miss
Gilly
by
misses.
Gilly.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
feel
arrow
like I'll
trying to
probably gonna
target
miss.
an arc over that ridge. Same
Yeah.
thing for Reniel. Erebon, what do you want to do? Because you don't have a bow on you currently.
Seeing that he would run, I would have no further interest in this fight whatsoever, and I would start rummaging through the cart for
Okay.
my items, specifically pulling out a rather large spear.
Okay. So I'm going to say then, because both of your attacks missed, I'm going to say, and you can tell me if this is unfair, but I think because both of them miss and because Erebon went and isn't chasing and Floy is down, there's really no one chasing. I'm going to say at this point he's going to put some distance,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll end the combat there with one of them having fled. Okay. That was intense. How did you like your first combat, Steven?
Oh, it was fun. I hit a guy. I got hit. Yeah. What more can you ask for from a fight?
Yeah, that was
I
excellent
hate
fun.
hate. I don't like it.
What? That was great.
I like that it moves fast. I really
Yes,
like
it
that.
does. It does. It's also kind of simple. There's not like 1,000 different things you can do, but there's a handful of
right.
different things, which I like.
Just enough options.
Exactly. It's just enough stuff that you feel like there's some tactics and decision making, but not so much that it feels overwhelming at times. Okay. So you all look around, you survey. Erebon, you get all your things. You can go ahead. Your inventory is fully accessible to you now. Presumably, you probably give Gilly back her sword, but Gilly, you rush over, I'm guessing, towards Floy.
Mm-hmm.
Dwarf's on the ground. You can see he's unconscious, but
Reniel,
alive.
Yes.
Floy, and she'll like wave you over as she's like suddenly like digging through her pack trying to find like any healing products and stuff that she has.
And she's like limping over, wounded herself.
Mhm. So how many people got wounded? I think Floyd's wounded, Erebon is
I'm
wounded,
wounded.
and Reniel. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you're going through your things, do we want to do? Are you looking to do heal rolls to try to reduce the recovery time of your wounds?
Well, I would, after gathering my things, I would first join them over Floy and leaning heavily on my spear. I know the most basic of the elven healing arts. I will attempt it should you wish it.
Yeah. I mean, well, because what? You're a one day wound. Reniel, how long is yours?
2.
And then Floyd's was how many days? 3.
Yeah, no one had a really terrible wound. So it was you
Okay,
actually
so
had pretty good
nothing-
rolls on your wound.
Is Floy in danger of dying now?
Yes,
No.
he needs a healing roll within 1 hour because he.
He didn't get a second.
No, I didn't get the second one.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
okay.
I
First
never got the
round.
second one. I didn't have a high enough. I rolled like a 2 or something on the feat that I couldn't get. So we just did
Okay,
heavy
so then
blow.
I
Knocked
think
him
we
out.
should at least maybe get out of here. And then we can worry about
I think there's a window. I don't remember that window is, but I think there is a window for how long after the wound to sort of get that
An hour.
reduction. Okay. So yeah, I mean, an hour is enough. I think you guys can scramble away. Maybe at least get back to your camp if you want.
I have been pulling this cart for many days. I would be willing to pull it one more if it will help us carry your dwarven friend.
Gilly will help you pull the cart. Yeah,
Okay.
and we can get Floy in there.
I'll just kind of give her a little smirk like, I appreciate the help, little one, but you have done enough for me. I can handle this.
Hey, I can help, okay? I know I'm small, but Floy is my friend, and we need to get out of here. And that at that point, Gilly will grab her side of it, and she'll start tugging. Now, come on.
Perhaps you could push from the back. And I'll grab
Okay.
both handles and start pulling.
Fine.
Okay.
And she'll go back there.
Okay.
And Aurenia will walk next to our new companion and say, I don't know what terrible ills have befallen you, but it's fortuitous that we came upon you this morning. I am Aurenia.
I am Erebon. I am the lost child of Linden, as I call myself. I just kind of let out a little laugh. These are dark days, but most of the darkness I have brought on myself. So thank you for freeing me.
We are unfortunately going toward the darkness. There have been many happenings here in the nearby areas, and we are seeking to do what we can to avert some dangers ahead. If you
A noble goal. I admire it.
if you spend time with us, if that's something you might want to do. Unfortunately, we have had more of these types of encounters in the last few weeks than I've had in all my life before this time. But a sharp spear is maybe welcome.
I can empathize with your situation. Let us get your friend to safety, and I would love to hear more of your story.
First things first, indeed.
Okay, so we'll say you managed to get the cart, you load up Floy, you get all your things.
Before we
Erebon.
left, there was like a chest thing kind of near the cage. Was
Mhm.
that like an actual chest, or was that just...
Yeah, indeed it was. You do see a lot of kind of various treasures and things like that. That you can. There's probably enough room on the cart to fit
Okay.
Floy. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
carrying a lot of things for the past several days. We'll dive into that more when we get to safety and see how much
One-
Erebon overheard and how much. He
One
knew.
other thing, Aurenia wanted to take a look at that body that was
Mhm.
there, and kind of on her way over to the body, she'll sort of look back at Erebon, and just say, "Was this a traveling companion?"
No, they were simply a fellow victim.
One of
I
her
see.
people you would probably recognize, Erebon. You would probably be able to recognize Iriniel just from her manner and her dress as a ranger of the north, and this is another one. Kind of a male, middle-aged, not of the lineage, probably no blood of the Dunedain, not tall enough probably, but you might have even spent a couple days together as captives before maybe he tried to make an escape or something, or mouthed off one too many times. And there were more of these hill folk at a certain point, but a few of them were taken out along the way. You probably took out a few when they captured you. Same thing with this other fellow, but
Don't give me
Yeah,
too
you-
much credit now.
None
yeah,
of
I
the
know.
hill
That's
folk
true. I did see you fight. Yeah, you were. That wasn't.
Yeah.
You
are-
gave him a stub toe.
None of the hill folk look particularly young, right?
No. I mean, there's an array. Like none of them look like children. Like none of them look like teens.
Like
You
the
know.
16-year-old.
No. You don't see Nadil's son. No.
Okay.
Okay. And if anybody wanted weapons or something, I can give you a list of that after the fact. But they didn't have any special weapons. It was all kind of standard stuff.
Okay.
But if anybody wanted some things, there was one of them did actually have a helmet. The big guy did have a helmet. So if somebody doesn't have a helmet and would like one, you can take it. All right. So eventually, we'll say you managed to within about 45 minutes make it back to your camp that you had kind of perched up where you saw the elk that led you down here. and you quickly get towards assessing people's health. Who's getting the first healing roll?
Really
This is just for reducing heal time. Like, no one's in danger of death or anything like that. This is just seeing if you can quickly patch up the wounds that you've taken so that they heal more quickly.
I can heal because I have the Wondrous Pearl.
Sure. Okay.
As I said, I have very basic healing skills, so I'd be willing to help out. But if someone's more trained, I would defer to them.
I mean, you can lend aid if you want. That is, you're welcome to do that. Which would, I mean, considering how down everybody is, you certainly could. She probably could use some help here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would
do that then.
Yeah, we'll reassess like after this ep, like what everyone's fellowship focus is going to be.
Yeah, I made
yeah.
a note of that.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that off air.
One
but-
fellowship point and 1d6 for the taking, Gilly.
Okay.
So basically, Steven, you would burn a hope, and that would give Gilly an extra d6 on her heal test.
Okay, done.
All right, go ahead, Gilly.
Just to remind everybody, I have the Wondrous Pearl. So affects the bearer of the Wondrous Pearl gains 2d6 when making a healing or lore roll, and allows the player here to achieve a magical success, meaning if I spend 1 hope before a skill roll, I automatically pass the action. I'm just going to use the 2d6.
And you get an extra one from
and
Erebon.
The extra one, and this one we're rolling for Floy first, I think.
Okay, go
Yeah,
for
he's
it.
got the longest.
I see a
And then
Sauron.
that's an auto failure. Jeff's
no.
really leaning in with that.
All hail Sauron.
God dang it. So Gilly's kind of
You guys
she's-
really should come over to my side. Just saying.
she's propped up in the cart because that's still where we kind of have Floy, and she's just like got some poultice or whatever that she put on your shoulders, and she's got you wrapped up, and she's like, I'm sorry, that's really all I can do right now. And then she'll pop down and she'll head over to Irenial and she'll do a roll.
Yeah, a couple things here. Floy will say, I have no problem. You can be conscious, no problem. But like, there's nothing. The wound itself is going to take a few days. Gilly, you said you affixed the pearl kind of to.
I
like
have
a
it
necklace
sewn
or
into
something?
like my shirt.
Sewn
so
into
it's
like the
up
collar of
against
your
it.
shirt.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
above my heart.
Erebon, you notice especially since you're helping, you notice that Gilly, as she's working on Floy, you can see that occasionally like her hand kind of comes up and you see it just sort of almost just like a behavior, just like a kind of playing with hair or something like that. It's just sort of tapping, like around her collar, and you look and you can see that there's this what is now slightly kind of illuminated pearl, and you hear the sound like ever so faint, but you can hear it, the sound of a woman's voice. There's sort of like a distant like hum like in your ears and your mind of like an elvish woman's voice. You're an elf of Linden, right?
Correct.
But I know your age. I think we can make a lore test at some point. You don't have to do it right this second. We can wait as you think, but something about that pearl catches your attention as it seems to sort of be giving off a very faint light and a hum as she's kind of concentrating and like kind of focusing, almost as if she's tapping into it in some way.
That is a beautiful sound. What song is that?
What are you talking about?
Your pendant, your brooch, the song coming from it.
And at that point, Gilly will kind of reach in and it's just a pearl, and she'll hold it out.
Most intriguing.
And
But
then
it's a beautiful artifact.
I'll have to show you the rest later when we're not rushed. And she'll put it away and go to heal Irenial.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead and make that roll.
Do I burn another hope here to help?
if you want to.
my
Too
gosh.
late.
Too late now. Save
I
it.
have Sauron again.
All hail Sauron, Lord and Savior.
And
Hallowed be thy
again,
name.
Gilly will do kind of like the same thing where she gets like a poultice that she's kind of mashing as she's sitting next to you, and she kind of slathers that on you, and that's about it. And then she will turn to Erebon.
Okay.
Can
So
I
You
find out
have-
who
assist
Gil
with
really
this?
likes. Yes. go
You have
ahead.
helped me enough. Allow me to tend to my own wounds.
Okay.
You can help
I-
Erebon instead if you want to burn a hope.
Yeah, I do have.
This is really Erebon like looking at you constantly
He's
fail
like,
and being
you
like,
don't know what you're doing.
She doesn't know what she's doing. She's bonkers crazy.
You don't need to burn a hope. I would kind of keep it to myself.
Okay. Yeah, I have 3
Okay.
healing, but I am weary and
Okay.
wounded. So
Yeah, I don't have 3 healing, but I'm still an elf that thinks I'm better than everyone else. So
actually, did you use
That's
any of the fellowship points or d6s?
I didn't.
Not
I was
use
going
any
to,
fellowship
but
Okay. All right. The wounds, maybe it was because you guys took a little bit extra time. Maybe if you would have, lended aid immediately, who knows what it might be.
Yeah.
Or maybe the it's just too cold, or everything's just a little bit more painful than normal. But you're not really able to do anything to really accelerate the healing process. So I think the longest was 3 days, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Floy.
So let me
3,
ask you guys
2,
a
1.
question. You got a camp here. It's decently out of the wind. How long do you want to stay camped in this location?
What
What-
were you?
from my time with the hill folk, would I know that there are more groups of them around in the area?
Yeah, so
The one running away would concern me.
you can, if you like, we can do some rolls here. There's a few rolls I can give, especially for you, like retroactive, just to see how much like you overheard, how much you knew about what they were doing. So basically, I would say an awareness probably. And the better you do, the more I'll say you were able to overhear about their plans, their intentions, their numbers, that kind of thing. Okay. All you don't know anything more specific than this. You know that you are apparently going to be presented as some kind of gift or offering to one of their leaders. Beyond, and same with the ranger. Apparently, somehow elves and rangers were viewed as arch enemies of some kind, ancient enemies of their people, and they were going to. That's why they kept you alive. Beyond that, you don't know any more about how many there are around or how far away they were. You don't think it's anywhere near here specifically. From what they said, it seemed like it was going to be some days still before your arrival. But you don't have anything more specific than that. They didn't usually talk too loudly in your presence.
So I would tell the group I was traveling with them begrudgingly, you might say. However, I do not know if there are many more in the area. We could be at danger, or we could be perfectly safe.
Well, the rest of you would know that Mount Grom, where you're at near the Etmoors that sweep down kind of easternly towards and kind of intersect with the Misty Mountains. This is troll country. So during the day, you would imagine you're at a little bit more safety, especially if the sun is shining through decently enough. At night, or if it's severe overcast, it might be a little bit more nerve-wracking for you. You've been attacked already by wolves, but you have managed to get a relatively decent campsite, and you do know that you also have to stay within a certain radius of where you placed your message for Marin Ben. You could potentially roll another test to try to secure or hide your camp even better and give you a couple days rest. We could do that, and that might make it less likely for a random encounter to occur or something like that.
Renee will kind of explain to Erebon that we are actually waiting to meet up with at least one individual, and perhaps 2 dwarves as well. So we hung our signal yesterday, and then we have another signal to possibly meet up with a few dwarves. So I think given our states, we might want to just find a more secure place to stay, but it seems like we need to stay fairly close by.
Seeing as how you have freed me from my bonds, if you would allow it, I will stay and do my best to ensure that you're able to safely meet with your companions.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of friends now.
Oh, am I conscious at all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Floyd's like, wait, is this elf moving in on my best friend here? What's going on? Back off. It's my fellowship focus. But yeah, all of you are conscious. It's fine.
Okay.
Say some of these conversations, some of the healing is kind of going on throughout the course of the day. We can say a short rest certainly could transpire for now, and then you can make decisions from there.
Erebon, have you in your travels witnessed anything weird?
Well, I would say a fellowship of a small child, a female ranger, and a dwarf rescuing me from a cage where I was bound by
I will
hillfolk.
stop you right there. I am a grown woman, thank you very much. And Gilly will pull out her book, and she ignores your rudeness because, like, she's too nice where that just kind of goes right over her head. She thinks you honestly thought she was a child. She gets that enough. And she's like, so we're to give you like the short of it, we are here to gather information for our patron, and honestly, if you wouldn't mind joining us until this concluded and then come back to Bree, that would be very, very helpful.
Bree. That is the town of men.
Yeah, I'm a Bree hobbit. It's also of hobbits.
Hobbits. I've heard stories of Bree and hobbits. I'm not familiar with that word. It has been some time since I've spent time in the company of civilized folk.
We're not the most civilized, so we might be a good starting point.
I will consider it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold you to it. We're friends now, and she'll kind of go more into detail of like why we're here, and yeah.
At some point, I do have to talk to the dwarf and say something along the lines of, Master Dwarf, that is quite a unique battle strategy. I've never seen someone use their face as a shield before.
Yes, I like dived in face first.
Yes, your enthusiasm was unbridled.
Seems we made it out of that battle alive. And you're free from it. Find me in this state for an elf. It better be worth it.
I'm afraid I may disappoint you on that count.
At some point while you are recuperating, you might want to take a read. Our friend Gilly here has been making notes of our adventures, and you might not have seen Floy quite at his finest today, but if you take a read through the words she has put to page,
I could write you a summary, but my book, and like she's got it's like her journal. So it's got like a lot of stream of consciousness in there as well. And she's a little embarrassed to share it. Maybe in a little bit. And at that point, Gilly stands up with her book and she'll kind of like walk away to the edge of the camp to try and like help obscure us a little bit.
Irenial will turn back to Erebon and say, perhaps she will tell a story by the fire. Perhaps. There's Floy leaping from trees and successful fights against trolls and such tales. Gilly has been carefully documenting the highs and lows.
A dwarf that can climb and jump. That is most intriguing.
Gilly, roll a stealth test if you want to try to, as best, obscure the camp and your compatriots from view from any casual passersby.
Okay. I'm going to use our last dice for this.
Okay.
Got
Sounds
it.
good. Okay.
Great success.
Great
There you
success.
go.
Okay. Do you have an extra success? Okay. Noted. All right. So the day passes a bit, mostly with you all chatting, filling in each other on what little you might know of the area, healing, recovery. Night eventually does fall. Gilly does come back. And periodically, you see her coming back and sort of shifting this thing, shifting that thing, skewering, kind of shoveling some rocks here and there, unfolding a certain more colorful tarp and putting that away, and then
At one point, she brings a whole bush that she dug out of the ground and like replants it.
it's like this gray, like everything here is gray or brown. There's like no green, and she just plants it. Okay. But yeah, eventually night does fall. Do you all want to continue to just sort of rest here? Gilly, as best you can tell, you've done a fairly good job of making it so that this particular camp is not easily viewed by anyone who might be moving around you guys are up on a fairly high ridge on the base of the mountain here, and anyone moving around on the surface below doesn't quite have a good angle to see you all in your activity as you've moved yourselves back right against the mountain. It's just kind of hard to see. It's possible if someone had excellent eyesight and they were at a significant distance and the mist and the fog would abate a bit, they might be able to see you, but even then you would probably be able to see them coming. So it's a decent enough place for camp. So just a question.
Irenial's tired and
okay.
kind of wants to stay put.
All right.
I
okay.
wouldn't be trying to make waves with a new group. I'd follow whatever they want to do.
Yeah. Floy, Gilly, any strong feelings in the matter?
Oh yeah,
one way or the
resting
other?
here until we're healed up is perfectly fine.
Gilly's really hoping Mirabem will find us sooner than later.
Okay. So yeah, you go ahead and you can hit your long rest buttons.
Do we hang the colored tarp somewhere?
Would mean leaving the camp. You probably wouldn't want to do it in the middle of the camp. That would defeat the purpose.
Well,
but
no,
yeah.
of course not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, not at night at least.
So some of you are wounded, right? So oh yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. It's working out the way. Yeah. So some of you aren't getting your full endurance gain back because of this. All right.
For the wounds, when does the 1 day timer count as going off? Is it the next time I rest?
Yeah. So how long was yours?
1 day.
1 day. So I would say it's probably. I mean, I'm just gonna do after a long rest. I'm gonna call that. So
Yeah.
we can say anyone who had 1 day, it was literally this day, and so by
Right,
morning, I think your wound would probably be enough that it's no longer hurting you. So, but still, you'd only regain the smaller endurance for the first night.
Oh, so my wound is gone then.
I would say when you wake up after the long rest, now
Okay,
your wound is
okay.
gone.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Assuming we wake up.
You do. But you wake up, and there is a woman sitting in the middle of your camp right at your fire. You're like this small little kind of hooded fire that you don't even recall. Like none of you were tending, and you look down and you can see she's covered in furs and animal skins. You can see there's a scabbard of a sword that's leaning against the ground. You can see a big old bow is strapped across her back, and she has some piece of meat of a creature that you don't know. It might be fish, and she's got it like kind of poked at the end of a stick, and she's just kind of holding it out over top of this fire, and it's just kind of crystling. It's like you hear like the gristle is like little bits of fat are kind of dripping down to the fire. And she says, as everyone kind of starts to wake, and she, with her other hand, holds up the dangling necklace, and she says, one of you will need to answer why you have my daughter's necklace. And if I do not like the answer, I will kill all of you. Speak quickly and plainly. And you look at her, Ariniel, and her face is pale. The bits that you can see, there's this kind of harshness to her voice, like she's speaking with almost like a perpetual sore throat. Like you've met many a ranger, but none have ever really expressed such kind of cruelty, like so brazenly to anyone other than maybe orcs or something like that, but just to random folk like yourselves, especially somebody who clearly, like yourself, recognizable as a ranger, and knowing this particular spot, this message spot here. But she kind of just holds it up briefly, and she's just turning the fish over ever so carefully. What do you guys do?
Aurenia will speak up immediately and say, we were the ones who left that for you, and that was given to us by Talendil in order to catch your eye so that we could make your acquaintance.
We're here for information regarding the orcs and their activity in this area. And if you've witnessed acts of their union, you could say, with the hill folk. Because the shadows are rising, and it's getting very close to Bree.
You hear just like this really morose laugh just begin to emerge from like underneath the cowl that kind of covers most of her head. Stringy hair kind of dripping down here and there, and tiny little, like really crude, like not braids, but just kind of like twisted, sort of wiry, like oily hair. And you can just hear like a cackle. I care not for Bree. Talendil, you say? Gave this to you.
Attacked in his home, and we were able to save
No,
back.
Oswald's phone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we met up with him at the ruins, and that's where Reniel, we saved the helmet that she has from the hill folk.
Yeah, you're saying lots of things that she has
Just
no,
mean
like
nothing.
the helmet and stuff like that means nothing to her, really.
Yeah.
But when you mention ruin, she's like, the whole world is ruins, little one. I find it hard to believe Talendil would give this over so freely. What are you to him?
I know nothing of your daughter nor of a necklace, but not one day ago, these good people saved me from a very dark situation. I can attest to their good nature. They would only wish to help you.
When we visited Talendale and Fort Nos, there was a woman who raised 12
Fornost.
wraiths. Fornost.
Mhm.
I always want to add a T for some reason. And Talendale nearly died, but we managed to bring him back and heal him. And in doing so, he gave us this so we could get more information, so we could get into contact with you.
At that point, she kind of sets down the stick that's got the chunk of meat on it, pulls the cowl back a bit, and looks over at you, Gilly. He sent you to me. For me to
If I remember
aid
correctly,
you.
he said he wanted to give this back to his daughter.
No, he wants it back because it's his daughter's.
Maybe I heard wrong.
Do you say that, Floy? That like he wanted to return it to his daughter or something?
Yeah, I thought he said that. I don't, unless I'm remembering wrong.
So when you say that, and we'll just play it out. Like, all right,
Okay.
that's fine. Like a little bit of a kind of, she winces a bit. You see in her face, like pain just sort of washes over, and she'll just say, "There's no giving this back to her. She's been dead for 10 years now, which is why I find it so vexing that he would give this over our daughter's beautiful keepsake to strangers, younglings, fools."
I think he sees that the world is heading further into ruins, and he might have seen something in us.
You think my husband is an optimist?
Oh, he made that very clear. He was not.
I would venture to say that the amount of disbelief that you have over this act is equal to the amount of danger that he believes that this whole area is in. And that is why he chose to take this action.
Okay. Who do we think has taken sort of the lead in the conversation? To me, it sounds like Auriniel or Gilly have been sort of the lead in the conversation.
Definitely not me.
Auriniel, I want you to give. We're not doing like a full council. That's not necessary here. But just sort of a kind of setting a tone.
Mm-hmm.
Give me. Oh boy. I would say maybe you've been doing in Hearten, kind of trying to sort of lift spirits in some way, and then you can take a bonus die for the help of your allies who have kind of pitched in here. And I'll even, because you are a fellow Ranger of the North, I'll even give this to you at favored.
Ooh.
Which is why I think it's probably best if Auriniel does the roll.
So I've got a feat die and 1 bonus dice?
Yeah.
Okay. Great success, 20.
Okay. So I'm just changing a couple settings here for myself because it's getting some freezing. Okay. Great success. All right. So she kind of looks off at all of you, and kind of still laughing from what she considers a joke by Floy, basically referring to Talendale as an optimist. And she just says, "Well, the shadow rises, and 3 children and an elf who allowed himself to be captured by bumbling fools are what stand between the good people of the world and ruin. I could see your campsite for a mile. Soon, trolls will find it as well. Gather your things. If we're going to talk, we're going to do it somewhere safely, not here. Quickly, I will make this offer only once.
I start gathering what we can.
Yeah, Gilly does too.
Me 3.
I pack light.
Yeah, go ahead. So you guys get your things. You follow her for a bit. She leads you on this like kind of weird, it's like kind of circuitous route. She crosses over that icy stream you saw before. She kind of continues to move down like the foothills to the west a bit, and then kind of into this very tight carved, kind of, I would say like a wedge between these two huge chunks of stone that kind of converge and equate almost like a bottleneck, and then into what looks like this fairly shallow cave. And as you're passing by, those of you with, any sort of decent awareness, you notice that there are a significant number of traps that you're kind of passing along here. These kind of crude spike traps here that she has affixed. This kind of barrier and a tripwire and what looks like some kind of pit that she has dug, that big enough perhaps for a troll's foot to kind of collapse down into it. And she's walking directly at what you swear is just rock. And then she veers just ever so slightly off to the left, and you realize there's this kind of this obscured entrance to this little area. And you are now within what looks like her home. As you look around, you can see there's all these sort of small trophies, some of them quite gruesome, in fact. Aurelio, this is sort of, might even take you aback a little bit. This is not really what kind of your, like you've been raised to recognize as decent kind of ranger behavior. You see like really these gruesome setups of sort of bone and what looks like she's taken pieces off of kills and things here and there. You also notice, Gilly, that there's like this just plethora of wildflowers and plants and things that have been set up on this carved stone tables, a mortar and pestle that she seems to have probably made herself. You also would notice that there's like kind of hanging up on the wall here, like on a hook, there's this relatively unused bow. Like you look at it, you see it's in sort of decent condition. It's not drawn or anything. The string isn't connected, but you can definitely tell it's got these nice carvings in it. And you notice there's these sketches here and there on this old kind of withered paper. Some actually are almost recognized as, you can almost recognize the look of Talendil, and others just sort of a young woman, maybe not so much different in age from Irenial. But she just starts pointing out like where you're allowed to sit, where you're not allowed to sit, that kind of thing. Erebon, during this walk, if you wanted to, you can make that lore test if you want. You can also, make that lore test on this pearl that you saw Gilly kind of fiddling with here and there. Okay.
Gandalf.
You Gandalfed it. It dawns on you that you recognize it. Maybe when she was showing you the box or the that it kind of came in the elvish runes around, and like this little kind of embroidered piece of cloth that was encased inside of it to kind of give it a safe place to sit. But you kind of start to piece it together now that you're feeling a little bit better. But you remember hearing a story at some point, maybe you passed through Rivendell sometime in the last couple hundred years or whatever it might be, or maybe in passing with other elves, but you remember hearing a pretty terrible story of the Lady of Rivendell, wife of Elrond, Celebrian, many a couple hundred years ago. Not sure exactly how many, but you heard a story about her.
It's a sad story.
It's a very sad story, in fact, of her traveling across the Misty Mountains and being waylaid and captured by orcs and suffering cruelty and torture, and eventually she was rescued, but and although some of her physical wounds here healed, like this incident directly led to her heading to the Undying Lands. And you remember that some of her things obviously were taken as she was visiting. I believe it was her mother that she was visiting, if I recall correctly. And some of her things were taken, and some of the runes that you see kind of carved into the box brings that memory back to you, and you think this might be one of the Lady of Rivendell's possessions that was taken so long ago during her capture.
All right. I would have realized that on the walk, but now we're at the place, so I'll keep that to myself for now.
Yeah, that's fine. Do with it whatever you want. Yeah. Okay. So you guys all kind of get settled within this cave, this little small area. It's sort of a horrible stench to it here, but what do you guys do as she just sits down at one point, and you can see her like almost idly is moving the necklace around in her fingers and then periodically kind of staring up at you. And now that you see her, there's a little flame flickering here, and you can see it, smoke kind of wafts up through a hole in the carved into the ceiling. Pulls her hood back, and you can see she's pale and pasty. You would put her, she probably looks older than she really is. Her hair looks horribly kept. She does not look to be in good condition whatsoever. Like something has just drained her of, like she's just filled with hate and no hope kind of deal. What do you all do?
Yeah, to break the silence a bit, I'll start pointing at her like trophies or carvings that she's collected. Be like, so I've heard you're a troll hunter. I was taking out one myself, and I'll bring out an earpiece from that swamp troll.
Oh yeah, she okay. She takes a look at that. And you see like a small, like kind of cruel grin kind of overtake her face. You can see what looks like discolored teeth underneath as she says, "Well done, dwarf. Though only one, you have a long way to go to catch up with my tally. But one is a good start."
Why do you hunt the trolls?
You can see like she stops suddenly fiddling with the necklace. Talendale didn't tell you, did he?
Didn't tell us much.
I hunt the trolls because they are responsible for the death of our daughter. Talendale and I disagreed a bit on Mayneth's training. I said that she wasn't ready. Talendale said that she was. Back and forth we argued. Soon Mayneth took it into her own hands, and off she went. We lived years peacefully along the North Downs. Headstrong. Off she went, ranging alone, she did. We found her, and when we did, life was no longer in her. We have been at this enough to know, well, the work of these cruel creatures. We found those that we presumed were responsible, but there's no way to be sure unless you kill every last one of them.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Why, you did nothing. You hid
Because
behind your little walls and your brie, while the rest of us are out here protecting you when you don't even realize it. And then when we come into your streets, into your taverns, you stare at us with hate in your eyes and disgust in your voice. That is what you should be sorry for, little one.
and Gilly just kind of like looks down at her lap, and because she is sorry, before she really got to know Arenial herself, she probably sort of fell into the same loopholes as everybody else.
It's true. I mean, most of
Yeah.
Bree, like, they steer clear. They kind of give them strange looks and, consider them, they misunderstand them. They misunderstand what
Yeah.
they're for. Yeah.
And Gilly is Irenial's fellowship focus, so Irenial's just sort of going to sit up a bit more straight at this sort of overreaction to what was intended as a kindness. And Irenial will say, we have our jobs that we do, and while sometimes that means we are dismissed in the congregations of others, it does not mean that we don't continue what we do.
And Gilly will kind of nod and be like, I'll admit I am young, but I am learning, and that's why we're here. There are things that need to be corrected, and there's work that needs to be done, and we're going to see to it.
Old wrongs that need to be righted.
Who knew there were so many optimists in the world?
At least one.
There are evils in this world beyond the trolls.
I don't want to sit here and be lectured by you. I am more than twice your age, one. Put more years into your bow and into your arm, and then come talk to me. Do not sit here and condescend to a woman who has done more for our kind than you have yet. Careful now. My courtesy extends only so far. Now, what is it you want from me?
There's been word that there's an orc who has a band in his, under his rule, who's kind of headed toward this mountain, Rotag. We were wondering if you had any information on his movements.
Yes. There was a war party journeyed here a few weeks back, but it was no orc who led them.
Was it a red-headed woman?
No. It was an Olog High, and I will not say that word again. Troll. Specific breed. Dangerous. The aversion to the sun that normally afflicts this kind does not seem to slow it. Was followed by some smaller creature, playing at being a human, banners flying in the air. They roamed Mount Graham for a week or more, drafted a few cave trolls into their band, and off they went over the mountain. I know not whether they were going to Kondum or Mount Gundabad, but they were here, and they are now gone.
Have you heard the rumors about the fires lit at Karndum?
Yes. Who do you think told Talendil?
What can you tell us?
I can tell you that Angmar has been a very cold and dead place where only ghosts of past evils reside. But for a year, perhaps more, there have been signs that someone occupies the ruined fortress. I've seen the fires glow in the distance, towers that once had been torn to the ground stand erected once more. Ashen-faced goblins have been collecting stones from long silent quarries in the mountains. More than once, my little hobbit friend, I have heard the wings of a cold drake sweep through the land creatures that have not been this far south, past the arid Mithrin in quite some time. Do you wish to go there and slay yourself a dragon? Do you now? If that's not worth clans of snow trolls I've seen coming over the mountains of Angmar. Some I have taken, but fierce they are, hardy. And I'll tell you this. It's not just from the north where Angmar pulls its forces. Your Rotag's band is not the first adversaries I've seen to come up from the south. No. These hill folk that kept your elvish friend here in a cage. I've seen them travel across those dreary lands, making offering, it seems, to whoever it is who occupies the fortress.
Interesting that you criticize my companion's supposed inaction, and yet you saw me in my position and did nothing.
I am but one, and you, your kind, I presumed, were more than capable. I assumed you were acting out some longer plan, or am I to believe that an elf of Linden allow themselves to be captured by such barbaric fools as those hill folk, and once captured could not find their way free? Oh, how your people have diminished.
Well, I'm glad you were able to keep yourself safe in these walls.
Gilly's gonna get her book at that point.
Yeah.
And she's gonna flip to like the sketch that she has of the Nazgul. And she's gonna show that to Mirabem.
Okay.
I don't really know that it's a Nazgul. I don't think
it's not. Yeah.
Or but that's what it was the horseman.
What was the sketch of? Yeah. I
The
was gonna
shadow
say,
horseman.
No. Yeah. It's, okay.
And like his like. Yeah.
Okay. Was marvelous artistry, little one.
Thank you, but when we were in Fornost, we had visions of the battle there, and we repeatedly saw this person on atop a horse. Do you do you know anything about them? About the Battle of Fornost?
I'm sure Talentil would know more. He was the historian.
Okay, but that doesn't say anything from her.
I mean, there's nothing there's nothing she can give you that you wouldn't have already.
He
learned.
didn't already. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to stiffen up even more at the mention of the Battle of Fornost, and I'm just going to get up and leave.
Okay. Careful, elf. You fell into the traps of the hill folk, and I can assure you mine are far shrewder. Be careful where you place your feet.
I'll stop for a step and half turn like I'm about to say something. And think better of it and keep going and continue out.
Right into a pit trap. Okay. Touchy, aren't they?
Yeah, don't know him too well, but it's our new friend Aaronbond. He was a prisoner. Is that normal? What are they doing with him?
Have they been taking lots of people?
I've seen some of them, certainly. I believe they have some structure to the west, not within my normal stretch of rangelands. But they seem to be moving. In terms of prisoners, no, I will say your friend, he is the first I've seen. Moses don't get so close to Mount Graham. But as you've said, they do not seem to have any conflict with the orcs. Trolls are another matter. They are not easy to domesticate.
She mentioned like a specific type of troll.
Yeah.
Could I do a lore roll for that?
At ill-favored.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does your pearl help you with lore?
It's unlike you would know, but it's possible. But I would say it would be unlikely for you to know, but you can certainly make the roll at ill-favored.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna rip it to see.
Sure.
A success.
Yeah. Maybe you heard it in passing. Maybe rangers would in the Prancing Pony or in the Cumin Wattle or one of these other inns that you might have spent time in. You probably don't know a significant amount. It's just a regular success, but yeah, it's relatively new breed of troll. Maybe you've heard it from merchants that have come from the east, from over the mountains, that they were seen around Mirkwood, or in some cases, maybe somebody out of Gondor or such. But it is what she said is true. It's definitely a creature that doesn't seem to suffer the sort of traditional kind of stone troll aversion to light. They seem to function during the day. They are sometimes mistaken for orcs because of some of the way in which they kind of comport themselves. They're not as kind of carnal and bestial in some respects. But they also are a new breed. They haven't been, like, the rumors of them have really only surfaced over the last kind of few years. This isn't something that people have done extensive scholarly study on, or there's many stories to tell about them the way there are for like stone trolls or something like that. So there's only so much information that is out there for them, but that's what you would know. So you probably have heard of it at some point, but mostly I would say you probably heard of it. I think the idea of like traders from the east or something like that, from Dale or whatever, might have heard stories of it around Mirkwood.
Yeah, and Gilly's got like some family that's merchants, so maybe that's also where she heard it from.
Sure.
I know you said you wouldn't say it again, and I don't need the name, but what could you tell me of them?
I'm sorry. Say your question again. I'm sorry.
She's going to ask her about those orcs, because I know she said she wouldn't say the name again.
Oh, the trolls, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have no more information to give you. Like, everything you've gotten is the extent of what you're getting. Like,
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
If what was the name of the troll again? What did she say?
Rotag is apparently the name that was being used. Yeah.
How do you
R-O-T-A-G.
spell it? R-O-T-A-G.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
And that's what she called the breed of orc or troll?
No, that's the name. That's the name you've had. R-O-T-A-G.
Yeah.
R-O-T-A-G is the name that you've had of that orc for a while. But she
Yeah.
says it's a troll called an Olog-hai.
Olog-hai.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's a legit thing. O-L-O-G-H-A-I. It's black speech, which is why she wouldn't want to use it too often.
Yeah.
Basically just means troll folk, I think, if I recall.
Yeah.
Okay. I think... Do you have any more questions? Any quick questions? 'Cause I think we should probably break for the night. I know that Lon's got to get going here in a few minutes. So I think we'll go ahead and sort of stop it here. You're in a relative place of safety. You've found Marimben. You've got your new party member. You have a couple bits of info to chew on. And I think we'll call it there.
Arinia will poke her head outside and keep an eye on our new group member outside.
Oh, yeah, he's impaled on a trap. He's dead. All right, so we gotta call it for tonight. Thank you to those of you who hung out and watched. Thank you to those of you who are watching this later on YouTube. We really appreciate the raids tonight. We really also appreciate the bits. You definitely kept them kicking through a very, very tough fight to rescue our new fellowship member. We now have an elf. This is great. A hobbit, dwarf, ranger, and elf. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Man, thanks for playing with
We're
us.
glad to have you.
Sorry that I almost killed your character immediately upon your character coming.
Would have been fine.
Wasn't really intentional, but pretty funny. Let's see. Other things we got coming up for us. We'll be back on Monday on this channel playing Deadlands, some more Savage Worlds. Next Friday, I don't know what we're doing yet. Next Friday, we'll announce it when we do. Next Saturday, we'll be back for more One Ring. Steven, when's the next game of Darkest House?
The 13th.
13th. So that's also you mean the 12th?
Or I'm sorry, no, it's the 12th.
Yeah, so a week from today. Yeah, so you'll be able to see back to back. It'd be great. Yeah. Just One Ring hazing the new guy. Yeah, exactly. Got to bring him in, toughen him up a little bit.
It's all right. If he goes too hard on me next week, I'll get him back a couple hours later.
Yeah, man, I've already done it to myself in the game. Yeah. Oh man, poor Wayne. Okay, so if you want to hang tight, I'm going to go ahead and raid our friends over at Dragons in the Dining Room. Looks like they're playing some D&D. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out. And hang tight. We'll catch you next time. So good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.